Chapter 276. My ear. A middle-aged, upper-class woman fell to the ground after hearing the news. Madam. The servants hurriedly supported her. Madame Duanmu's face twisted in pain. She opened her mouth wide, but couldn't make a sound. She looked pleadingly at Duanmu Qingsong, who sat motionless on the chair like a wooden sculpture. Master, what a good Wanglan, what a good son of the Yin Emperor. Vicious and merciless. Truly vicious and merciless. Her only had one goal, and before she succeeded, you had to kill her. Master, our son is dead. He was killed. Won't you avenge him? Of course I will avenge him, but I have to wait. I have to wait for an opportunity. Master, we'll fight him to the death. Didn't you always say that our Duanmu family is the #1 family apart from the imperial family? Are you afraid of him? Even if Yin Emperor's faction is strong, aren't you afraid that both sides will suffer? I thought they would be afraid of the Duanmu family and wouldn't want Er's life no matter what. But I didn't expect. Alas, if the Duanmu family could work together, we could still fight for justice. But even if I'm a family head, there might not be many people in the family willing to listen to me and fight back. Why? We've been bullied to the face. Because this time it's the Yu family and Yin Emperor's faction working together to suppress us. Then, died for nothing? Madame Duanmu immediately covered her face and cried bitterly. Master, there's someone outside. He says he's the commander of the Vermilion Bird Company. But I saw his military rank. General? Vermilion Bird Company. Duanmu Qingsong's face suddenly changed. He stood up abruptly. You go and take him to the guest hall. No, I'll go myself. Master, the Vermilion Bird Company is Yin Emperor's personal army. Although Yin Emperor has been retired from his position for many years, the Vermilion Bird Company is still one of the main forces of Yin Emperor's faction. The company is divided into 5 squads. There are only a few dozen people, but half of them are elite troops with titled experts. Duanmu Qingsong hurriedly ran to the door and saw a middle-aged man wearing the rank of general sitting upright in the central room. Seeing Duanmu Qingsong arrive, he stood up. General Zhua, you're here. Quick, this way, please. Greetings, Mr. Duanmu. My sudden visit has caused you trouble. The two of them arrived at the inner guest hall and sat down. Mr. Duanmu, I'm a soldier and I like to be straightforward, so I won't beat around the bush. I'm here because of the conflict between your son and Wanglan. What else is there to say? Wanglan was ruthless enough to take my son's life during a classmate dispute. With such a strong killing intent, I'm afraid it's not a good thing for the country. This is not some classmate dispute. The execution of Duanmu was unanimously approved by the Magic City Standing Committee. As he spoke, Zhuaming took out a soul orb and placed it in front of Duanmu Qingsong. This soul pearl contains the crimes that Duanmu committed and the people he killed. Frankly speaking, if it weren't for the Duanmu family's reputation, Duanmu Yi's crimes would have been exposed to the world and condemned by the entire country. It's laughable now that you're comparing Duanmu and Wanglan to each other. Is Duanmu qualified to be compared to Wanglan? Wanglan is someone who can get the Glorious Sun medal based on his merits. If the Duanmu family still can't take this lying down, we'll expose Duanmu Yi's crimes to the world. By then, you won't be able to handle it, even without us doing anything. General Zhua, can I take your words as a threat? Don't. Please don't be so uncertain. I'm here to threaten. And let me tell you, whether it's Wanglan's friends, relatives, or people who are related to him, as long as they're hurt for no reason, we don't need evidence. We'll expose Duanmu Yi's crimes to the world. And Zhuaming stood up and smiled faintly. The Duanmu family isn't clean. It shouldn't be difficult to destroy the Duanmu family. I won't disturb you any longer. Goodbye. Before Zhuaming left, he left behind a meaningful smile. His figure flashed, and he disappeared. Duanmu Qingsong held the soul bead tightly in his hand, his face extremely gloomy. He finally understood why the Shanghai Standing Committee passed Duanmu Yi's death sentence. If it was just Jiang Sinyu's matter, he definitely wouldn't be sentenced to death. As his father, how could Duanmu Qingsong not know what Duanmu Yi had done? If it wasn't for his family cleaning up his mess, he would have been arrested by the Heavenly Sword Bureau long ago. But how dare the Heavenly Sword Bureau? How dare they imprint Duanmu Yi's memories? Duanmu Yi couldn't cooperate with the Heavenly Sword Bureau, so he could only imprint his memories by force. And if the memories were imprinted by force, the person imprinted would definitely become an idiot. How dare the Heavenly Sword Bureau? If they didn't find anything, how would they explain it to the Duanmu family? This was also why the Duanmu family was never worried that Duanmu Yi's memories would be searched to find evidence of his crimes. Damn it! The storm of the Duanmu family passed quickly. Even if it became the topic of discussion in Shanghai's Cebu Gakuen for a while, it wouldn't last long. Wang Lan's life was still very fulfilling. Usually, he attended classes, and in his free time, he developed the Takashi Hoshi vaccine. With the Takashi Hoshi vaccine as a source of large amounts of experience and skill points, Wang Lan even forgot about the 9-story pagoda. 9-story pagoda? Was the profit as high as the vaccine? No. Go away. Unknowingly, another week had passed. This week, Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi vaccine was maintained at Nebula Level 3. Nebula Level 3 to Nebula Level 4 required a total of 400,000 experience points. He needed to develop at least 100 Takashi Hoshi vaccines before he could level up. His experience points increased steadily, and the harvest of skill points was also gratifying. Almost all the freshmen' strength had stagnated, but Wang Lan's was soaring at a rapid speed. It was another weekend, but compared to the students of Cebu Gakuen, they still had to study during the weekend. It wasn't a request from the teachers, but they had no choice. There were 9 subjects, and each subject was very profound. If they didn't spend all their time on studying and revising, the chances of failing the final exam would be 50% higher. Not everyone was like Wang Lan, who specialized in studying. After breakfast, Wang Lan was about to head to the medical department when his phone rang. Wang Lan glanced at it, and his face turned serious. "Hello, Uncle Ming. Are you attending church today? Come to the bureau for a while." "Okay." He turned around and walked out of the school gate, then called a taxi to the entrance of the park outside the Heavenly Sword Bureau. The headquarters of the Heavenly Sword Bureau was located in a large park as usual. Many people didn't even know that there was such a good place behind the park. The entrance of the Heavenly Sword Bureau in Shanghai was even more sci-fi than the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Would you have thought that a stone table in a pavilion was an elevator? Anyway, Wang Lan wanted to complain when he saw this for the first time. The Heavenly Sword Bureau wasn't underground. It was just a tunnel. After entering the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Wang Lan went straight to Ming Ye's office on the 3rd floor. "Reporting in." "Come in." Ming Ye entered the office and was busy reviewing documents. When he saw Wang Lan, he casually asked him to take a seat. "I heard from Guodong that you've been very busy recently. You've been elusive? I'm a freshman after all. The study load is a bit heavy." Wang Lan smiled. "That bastard lied to me and said that the study load was much easier than high school. Looks like he's itching for a beating." When he heard this, Wang Lan's neck shrunk slightly. "Guodong, I'm not trying to trick you." In Ming Ye's opinion, Wang Lan was the prodigy of Sioux City. His grades were much better than Ming Guodong's. Even Wang Lan thought that the university study load was heavy, but Ming Guodong dared to say that it was easy? What did this mean? He didn't study hard and let himself go. If he didn't fight now, would he wait until the new year? "Uncle Ming, it's not like that. I study more subjects than Guodong, and the electives I take are much more difficult than Guodong's. I need to spend a lot of time studying. If it's a normal subject, it's easier." Bullsh asterisk T. Wang Lan couldn't help but deny his own lie. Ming Guodong and he Jing skipped classes and played games when they returned to the dormitory. No matter how simple the subject was, they couldn't learn anything. They must have accepted their fate and crammed at the last minute. Is that so? Wang Lan, you're good at studying and have high self-discipline. Supervise Guodong more. He used to work hard when he was under my and his mother's supervision. Once no one is watching him, he'll definitely play. Okay, Uncle Ming, you called me here this time because Wang Lan's time was precious. He didn't have much time to dawdle. It's like this. I have a mission here. Recently, a large number of soul orbs have appeared in the Magic City black market. Not only did it seriously disrupt the soul orb market, but it also caused Magic City to suffer huge losses. In the past, they maintained a controllable level and we could turn a blind eye to it. But this time, they're insatiable. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is determined to rectify the situation, but the black market doesn't have a fixed trading place or a fixed network. The Heavenly Sword Bureau doesn't want to cast a net to catch fish, so they just catch some rotten fish. This time, our plan is to kill the leader and take down the mastermind behind the soul orb trade in the black market once and for all. So you want me to participate in the operation? This was the first time Wang Lan was a little repulsed by a mission. It wasn't that Wang Lan was arrogant, but that the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine was too tempting. That's right. What do you think? I'm willing to die 1,000 deaths for the country. Wang Lan immediately stood up and shouted, but how did this soul orb trade in the black market come about? Do you think the soul orb trade in the country is expensive? Understanding Knight took a sip of tea and asked with a smile. It's not expensive. Cough, cough, cough. She almost choked on her tea. It's not expensive? One soul orb is only 80,000, and 100 soul orbs are only 8 million. What can you do with 8 million? You can't even afford a house in Magic City, right? Wang Lan said seriously. Understanding Knight immediately forgot what she was going to say. Wang Lan, your standard for measuring value are too accurate. I'm speechless. Haha, Uncle Ming, I'm just kidding. The price of a soul orb is ridiculously high. Not to mention the average person, even those Takashi Hoshi families can't afford a few soul orbs, right? That's right. Then why do they have such a high price? The price gives me the feeling that they don't want people to buy them. Soul orbs are classified as luxury goods. Nowadays, some couples don't even give their girlfriends perfume, bags, and diamond rings. Instead, they give them soul orbs. Just last year, there was a rich man who ordered a necklace with 17 soul orbs. These are all digressions, but the reason why the country has set such a high price is because they don't want people to buy them. Chapter 277. If you don't want us to buy them, then don't sell them. Why open the Takashi Hoshi Club's Soul Orb Exchange? If the Takashi Hoshi wants soul orbs, it's very simple. Join the army. The army has a monthly quota of soul orbs, especially when you go out on missions. You could get a large number of soul orbs. You can also go to the Wasteland Exploration Team to join the Wasteland Exploration Team. Besides handing in a certain amount of soul orbs every month, the rest can be yours. The more you work, the more you get. These two sources of income are supported by the country. Spend money to buy them? The country means to buy them if you can afford it. After all, there are quite a number of Takashi Hoshi who come from rich families, or they're celebrities in the city, living a comfortable life and waving a lot of money. This is unfair to the Takashi Hoshi who contribute to the country. Why can you enjoy life and have a large number of soul orbs to improve your strength? Therefore, soul orbs are a tool to rob them of their wealth. They are forced to go to the Wasteland Exploration Team or join the army. But if they don't sell, it will completely help the black market. If there is a market, there will be business. This has been the truth since ancient times. The black market has a longer history than our soul orb exchange. It's just that Jade State doesn't allow soul orbs to be traded privately, which led to the black market becoming more and more hidden. It's also harder to investigate the soul orb trading chain. After a few days of investigation, we found that there is a third-year student named Chun Xiaoping in Cebu Gakuen, Shanghai. He secretly collects soul orbs from the students of Cebu Gakuen, Shanghai. But first of all, he is in Cebu Gakuen, Shanghai, so his actions are very secretive. Moreover, the students of Cebu Gakuen, Shanghai are allowed to trade soul orbs. Because the source of soul orbs for students is hunting and internship, they are in their own circle. As long as the soul orbs are not out of the circle, trading between students is allowed by law. After all, many talented students with poor family backgrounds need to sell a few soul orbs to subsidize their living expenses and household expenses. In other words, even if we catch Qin Xiaoping, we can't convict him. We can't prove that the soul orbs he collected have leaked out, so we can't convict him. And the soul orbs he collected are only a small number. They're definitely not the source of the large number of soul orbs we are looking for. However, the soul orb black market should be controlled by someone behind the scenes. I want you to use Chun Xiaoping's lead to find the mastermind behind this. I'm afraid that I'll alert the enemy if I make any sudden contact, right? Uncle Ming, what's your plan? Chun Xiaoping only accepts regular customers, or rather, he only accepts soul pearls from certain people. Not only can he ensure his safety, but he can also justify himself. A regular customer of Chun Xiaoping's trading network has been turned into our informant. Then wouldn't it be easier to find an informant? That informant doesn't have much money, and his strength isn't very outstanding either. When he was in his second year, he was injured and his foundation was damaged. The soul orbs he could provide could not attract Chun Xiaoping's attention, nor could they lure out the mastermind behind the scenes. I will now prepare an identity for you. You are a direct descendant of the Takashi Hoshi clan's Liu clan. Although he was of noble status, he did not have the talent of Takashi Hoshi. Therefore, she studied at Jinyu University. Jinyu University's students are all second-generation rich. Not many of the Takashi Hoshi clan's direct descendants have awakened the talent of Takashi Hoshi. And you guys like to indulge in debauchery, so you plan to get the soul orbs from your family. You happen to be a friend of my informant, Dong Fei Fei. Here is a face-changing mask, which is the talent of one of our brothers in the bureau. After wearing it, you can turn into another person. As long as you don't use Takashi Hoshi, there are no flaws. When the time is right, I will let my informant arrange for you guys to meet. Because in the entire Heavenly Sword Bureau, you're the only one who looks like a student. Moreover, you look like a second-generation rich kid. Uncle Ming, can you remove the word like? When the time is right, I will inform you. You need to build a good relationship with Chun Xiaoping and get more information from him. It's best if you can get some clues about the mastermind behind the scenes so that our brothers can follow the vine to find the melon. Yes, but how many soul orbs have you prepared for me? Take 20 first to test the waters. Only 20? What? 20 isn't enough? Even on the black market, one soul orb costs 40 to 50,000. 20 is at least 800,000. Take 200 first. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Only 20? You don't look like a second-generation rich kid at all. Mingyi looked at Wang Lan in shock. You don't know the price of money because you don't run the household? 200 is worth 8 million. Test the waters for you? Do you think the Heavenly Sword Bureau has a gold mine? You just said that the price of soul orbs is inflated. This is not the real value of soul orbs. 200 soul orbs are quite expensive in the soul orb exchange, but here, I'm afraid it's not even worth tens of thousands. Killing a mutated beast is a piece of cake. But that's 200 soul orbs. Uncle Ming, don't be so rich. Other than the 200-gram soul orbs, give me 10 middle-grade soul orbs. What? Mingyi jumped up on the spot. Don't be agitated, don't be agitated. 10 middle-grade soul orbs aren't a lot. This isn't a lot. 10 middle-grade soul orbs are equivalent to 500 normal soul orbs. I've hunted more than 10 middle-grade soul orbs myself. How can they be so valuable? Uncle Ming, we're in the government. How can we not know the real value of soul orbs? If we can fish out the mastermind, let alone 10 middle-grade soul orbs, even 100 would be worth it. You still want 100? I'm just making an analogy. How about it? With these things, I'm more confident. If not, then forget it. I can't do this job. Wang Lan had this mentality. If he could provide it, then he would do it. If he couldn't, then he would find someone else. Anyway, his main job now was to go to university. The Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine was really good. He had completely forgotten that in order to gain experience and skill points, he had done the work of an executioner. Okay, you stay in school for now. Don't go anywhere. I'll inform you at any time. Wait, does the Heavenly Sword Bureau have any high-tech special agent products? High-tech special agent products? What kind? Reconnaissance for infiltration. The smaller, the better. The more hidden, the better. Follow me. Following Mingyi, Wang Lan came to a hidden standalone building in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. This building was like the medical department of Cebu Gakuen. The people who came in and out were all wearing white coats and even protective suits. It made people wonder if they were researching biological weapons. Wang Lan. These are all scouting-type micro-robots. But because of the limited technology, they can't be controlled remotely. So, each type needs a remote control to control their actions. And the range of the remote control is only 300 meters. In other words, you need to control them within 300 meters. I think it's not very useful. It's not as good as the Takashi Hoshi infiltration skill. But the Takashi Hoshi skill has astral power fluctuations. And even if you don't use the Takashi Hoshi skill, you can directly tell if there's a Takashi Hoshi nearby if you encounter a Takashi Hoshi. That's true. Those who have the ability to control the underground trade of soul orbs are probably not ordinary people. In the end, Wang Lan chose a spider-type robot and a bluebird for reconnaissance. Carrying these two things, Wang Lan returned to the dormitory. He carefully read the plan that Mingyi had made. The plan was very detailed, and it was closely linked. At first glance, he didn't understand, but felt that it was awesome. From between the lines of the plan, a sense of strategic planning that could determine victory from 1,000 miles away hit him in the face. But Wang Lan thought to himself, "Chicken, you're too naive, too naive." The more exquisite the plan, the more it meant that there couldn't be any accidents in the middle. An accident would completely disrupt the whole plan. It would eventually lead to a collapse. What was the perfect plan? Arrange the trap on the path he had to take, and it had to be when the other party thought it was absolutely safe. If there were other paths to take, it wasn't a path he had to take. If he was on guard, it wasn't absolutely safe. So, after reading the plan again and again, Wang Lan threw this so-called decapitation plan aside. He thought about his plan in his heart. The first half of the decapitation plan could still be used. As for the second half, he had to gain Chen Xiaoping's trust and find a way to connect to the upper level. Then, he would gain trust again, collect evidence in the process of the transaction, and then the Heavenly Sword Bureau would catch him in one fell swoop. Looking at the Heavenly Sword Bureau's stingy manner, the so-called gaining trust in the transaction process couldn't be implemented. Moreover, Wang Lan was very busy with his studies now and didn't have time to waste so much time. It would be best if he could get it done once and for all. It just so happened that after upgrading the spiritual imprint to the gold level, he had mastered a new ability. Moreover, this application technique didn't seem to have been developed by the imprint masters yet. Although a Takashi Hoshi technique might appear for a long time, it didn't mean that the application method had reached the limit. He Mingxue didn't know that the flame sword could be used like this if Wang Lan's vertical flame sword didn't come out. The plan was repeatedly deduced in his mind. It was simple but fatal. Now that everything was ready, all that was left was to deliver the soul beads. Putting the matter of the plan to the back of his mind, Wang Lan packed up the two high-tech robots in front of him. The green bird was okay. It had solar panels and could be charged by solar energy. But the robot spider couldn't, it was too small. These two robots were simulated, and the simulation was extremely high. As long as he didn't observe closely, he really wouldn't be able to tell. He turned on the power and activated the two robots. Then, he connected them to the computer through the laptop's USB port. Student Xiao, AI, I'm here. Copy a clone into the two robots and see if you can control them autonomously. Okay. Soon, two progress bars appeared. After a while, the progress bars were completed. The two robots began to move without Wang Lan's remote control. Student Wang Lan, both robots can be controlled by me, and I have a quantum connection with the main body, so I can remotely transmit instructions to the clone. Sorry, the robot's capacity is too small to carry all my programs. Wait, quantum connection? I don't remember your data code being such a high-end thing. In February of this year, I went to White Eagle with Bing Shui and accidentally got involved in their number 54 system. There, Bing Shui and I got a data upgrade. Because we were just programs, we can't access the power of their supercomputer. But the quantum connection data connection module can still use some functions. Wang Lan, if you want me to get a comprehensive upgrade, can you build me a quantum computer body? This money shouldn't be a problem for student Wang Lan. Oh. Wang Lan smiled coldly. This kind of thing is still in the black technology stage. Expensive. You think I don't know? As long as you can control it, help me perform a task in a few days. Chapter 278. The next day, the person in charge of the Heavenly Sword Bureau sent 2 boxes to him. One box contained 200 soul orbs, and the other contained 10 mid-grade soul orbs. Although Ming Yi said that he didn't want it, his body was very obedient. Besides, as Wang Lan said, soul orbs were like diamonds. If they were sold in a jewelry store, they would be a luxury item and worth a lot of money. However, if they were sold in a diamond mine, they would be worthless. Diamonds were just carbon. The world's diamond reserves were abundant. Synthetic diamonds were as big as one could imagine, but their real value was almost zero. There were so many beasts in the alternate space. If soul orbs became scarce one day, the crisis of the human race would be solved. After getting the soul orb, Wang Lan held it in one hand. The star power around him surged, and a mass of green mental star power was channeled into a mid-grade soul orb. This was Wang Lan's last trump card. The soul orb contained star power, which was also a mysterious energy source. Wang Lan imprinted his mental power into the soul orb. As long as he activated his mental power, the mental power hidden in the soul orb would emit mental waves after 24 hours. Coupled with the star power in the soul orb as a source of energy, the mental power would spread out like radio waves. Wang Lan had already asked Xiao AI to edit the frequency of the radio waves on the computer. Through the radio waves, Wang Lan could accurately find the location of the soul orb. Operation Decapitation? It's better to call it Operation Trojan Horse. Imprinting mental power into 10 mid-grade soul orbs and a dozen ordinary soul orbs was a vast project for Wang Lan. Compared to this project, Wang Lan had also perfected the new method of using mental imprinting in the past few days. Did it come in? Zheng Gong lowered his head and wrote quickly. He didn't even look up. Teacher, you're busy. Hearing Wang Lan's voice, Zheng Gong stopped writing and looked up. Wang Lan, what a rare guest. In my memory, this is the first time you've come to see me in private, right? Why? Did you encounter any problems in your studies? Zheng Gong, who had never laughed before, cracked a stiff joke in front of Wang Lan. Although this joke was not funny at all. He was the most outstanding student Zheng Gong had discovered so far in terms of spiritual imprints. Zheng Gong couldn't wait to whip Wang Lan all day long. Learn from me, learn deeply. It would be best if you can become a level 9 engraving master within a year. But Wang Lan was clearly more interested in Takashi Hoshi's poison than the spiritual imprint. He even went to the medical department whenever he was free. This made Zheng Gong very angry. He felt that Wang Lan was playing around and losing his will. But when he found out that Wang Lan had developed a vaccine for Takashi Hoshi, Zheng Gong could only let out a long sigh and turn to leave. He hadn't urged Wang Lan to learn the art of spiritual engraving for many days. Previously, Wang Lan had said that he wanted to become an orthodox Takashi Hoshi and didn't want to study spiritual imprints. Zheng Gong had harshly reprimanded him. But now, he had no reason or qualification to reprimand Wang Lan. The contribution of spiritual imprints to the country was undeniable. A level 9 master of spiritual imprint could double or even triple a country's Takashi Hoshi technology reserve in 20 years. This was a person benefiting the country. What reason did you have not to strive for this for the rest of your life? But how could someone's talent be so comprehensive? Previously, Zheng Gong thought that Wang Lan's greatest talent was spiritual imprints. But now he was wrong, ridiculously wrong. In terms of medical treatment for Takashi Hoshi, his talent was miles ahead of spiritual imprints. Was the Takashi Hoshi's poison vaccine not important? Compared to the prevention of spiritual imprints, the emergence of the Takashi Hoshi's poison vaccine was the real merit of the country. Compared to this magnificent feat, Zheng Gong really didn't have the face to say that Wang Lan should focus on spiritual imprints. Seeing such a good material in front of my eyes, but not being able to carve it with all my heart. How sad, how lamentable. It was precisely because Zheng Gong wasn't as pressing as before that Wang Lan hadn't gone to spiritual imprint class for 5 days. Zheng Gong really hadn't expected Wang Lan's arrival. Teacher, don't be sarcastic. I have a question I want to ask you. Go ahead. Teacher, do you think Takashi Hoshi technology must be performed by Takashi Hoshi? If a Takashi Hoshi doesn't have the talent for magic, can they perform powerful magic Takashi Hoshi technology? This is theoretically unrealistic. Even if you train desperately, the gains don't make up for the losses. Since you don't have the talent in this area, you should improve in the direction you're good at. Wait, I'm not a tactics teacher. Why are you asking me this question? Then, if you don't have the talent for a certain attribute, can you perform Takashi Hoshi technology of that attribute? Probably not. Even if you reach the galaxy grade, you have to cultivate the talent for a second attribute before you can perform Takashi Hoshi. This is common knowledge in high school. What are you trying to say? Why do I feel that something is wrong? Teacher, can I have a moment of your time? Please come with me. From beginning to end, Wang Lan's expression was very serious. This made Zheng Gong even more curious about what Wang Lan was up to. He followed Wang Lan to the academy's training ground. Because it was class time, there were only a few people in the training ground. Wang Lan took out a soul bead and held it in his hand. Teacher, this is a fire-type soul bead. I imprinted the method of using the flaming blade in this soul bead and added my spiritual power as a fuse. Listening to Wang Lan's explanation, Zheng Gong could not help but frown. Somehow, he seemed to have realized something, but he did not grasp that flash of inspiration. Suddenly, Wang Lan threw out the soul bead in his hand and pointed 2 fingers in front of his chest. Suddenly, a wave of astral power came, and the soul bead that was thrown out suddenly shattered, turning into a flaming blade that flew into the distance. Boom! A soft sound exploded in the sky, and visible waves of air swept out. On the training ground, a few students who were cultivating stopped and looked curiously at Wang Lan. Because they did not see what Wang Lan did before, they did not feel anything. But Zheng Gong saw it. From start to finish, Wang Lan had been watching every single action of his. Zheng Gong could understand each of Wang Lan's actions, but Zheng Gong couldn't understand them when they were connected. At this moment, Zheng Gong's eyes were wide open, and his mouth was wide open. Although the aftershock in the sky had dissipated, Zheng Gong could not recover for a long time. What did he see? The soul bead used the Takashi Hoshi technique? He knew that the soul bead could store the Takashi Hoshi technique for people to learn, because that was what he taught. But the soul bead could use the Takashi Hoshi technique? Why had he never seen it before? Was he dreaming? He must be dreaming? Zheng Gong gently bit the tip of his tongue. It hurt. Suddenly, Zheng Gong's expression gradually changed and became exceptionally ferocious. In a flash, he stepped out and appeared in front of Wang Lan. At this moment, Wang Lan's heart skipped a beat. As expected of the teacher of Shanghai Cebu Gakuen, he was so fast. Originally, Wang Lan had guessed that Professor Zheng was the weakest among all the teachers in the school. Now, he knew he was wrong. As expected of a devil school, where even the old man sweeping the floor was like a monk sweeping the floor. Wang Lan, how did you do it? Zheng Gong grabbed him by the collar and lifted him in front of him. How did you do it? Teacher, can you put me down first? When I was practicing the Takashi Hoshi technique, I suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I thought, since we can imprint the Takashi Hoshi technique in the soul bead, why can't we use the Takashi Hoshi technique? Because the soul bead contains astral power, it can be imprinted with mental power. But when it absorbs the Takashi Hoshi technique in the soul bead, the astral power will be wasted. Moreover, the Takashi Hoshi technique requires mental power to control the astral power and use the astral power to perform the Takashi Hoshi technique. In terms of steps, there are 3 conditions: mental power, astral power, and Takashi Hoshi technique. These steps can be fulfilled by imprinting the Takashi Hoshi technique. So I suddenly had the idea of trying to use the soul bead to activate the Takashi Hoshi technique. It's like a grenade. You are AF Astra's king genius. Zheng Gong roared, but shook his head with a bitter smile. Someone has thought of this idea before, but when the mental power used to activate the Takashi Hoshi technique was injected into the soul bead, the Takashi Hoshi technique was immediately activated. Hundreds of mental sealers died for this experiment. Later, it was confirmed that it was impossible to activate the Takashi Hoshi technique with the soul bead, so they gave up. You're the first one to succeed. The reason why the Takashi Hoshi technique could be activated immediately was that there was one condition missing. The attributeless Takashi Hoshi technique must be wrapped. It's like the fuse of a bomb. If the grenade didn't have a fuse and ignited directly in the gunpowder, it would be strange if it didn't explode immediately. First, the attributeless Takashi Hoshi technique must be wrapped around the astral power in the soul bead and then imprinted on the outside to activate the astral power. And this non-elemental astral power that enveloped the astral power had to be mixed with spiritual power. This way, by stimulating the mental power, the attributeless astral power will dissipate, and the external triggering mental power will fuse with the attributeless astral power in the soul bead to activate the Takashi Hoshi technique. Listening to Wang Lan's explanation, an idea flashed through Zheng Gong's mind. In an instant, the sudden enlightenment filled Zheng Gong's mind. Why didn't I think of it? Why didn't we think of it? It's such a simple method. Why didn't we think of it? Zheng Gong muttered to himself in a daze. After a long time, he looked at Wang Lan with a gratified expression. Wang Lan, your idea is a masterpiece of God. I even suspect that you were sent by Goddess Hoodoo to save mankind. Do you know how much the Takashi Hoshi's power will increase with this method? It won't be an increase of 1 or 2 times. It will be an increase of 10 or even 100 times. Using the soul bead as a grenade. If mankind can master this technique, how many Takashi Hoshi can be saved? This method must be named after you. Once it's out in the world, your name will go down in history. Ha ha ha! You're indeed my student. Teacher, you flatter me. I'm just a whimsical person. Wang Lan was indeed a little embarrassed. This was because Wang Lan really didn't think of this technique on his own. It was an ability derived from upgrading the mental imprint to gold level 2 after adding a point. There was no useless Takashi Hoshi technique in the world. There were only people who didn't know how to use the Takashi Hoshi technique. Even if it was just a mental imprint, a chance discovery could change the entire world. Come, follow me back and write down the detailed steps. Once you report this, you'll be awarded an outstanding contribution medal. With this contribution, let alone a mere Duanmu family in the future. As long as you don't commit treason and don't harm society, if anyone dares to touch you, the Takashi Hoshi in the world will turn them into ashes. Wait, teacher, class is about to start. Class my ass. No, that's your class. I'm skipping class. I'm skipping class too. Ha ha, you bunch of brats have skipped so many of my classes. I'll skip one too. Chapter 279. Wang Lan's method wasn't complicated, but it wasn't easy to put it into practice. It required a very high level of spiritual imprinting. Even Zheng Gong, a level 7 spiritual imprinting master, had to try more than 10 times to successfully make a soul pearl grenade after understanding the method. After successfully making it, the smile on Zheng Gong's face was like that of a child who had gotten his favorite toy. But in the next moment, Zheng Gong's face suddenly became serious. Teacher, what's wrong? Is there a problem? The Takashi Hoshi skill released from the Soul Pearl is indeed a good thing. But unfortunately, it's a long way to go. What do you mean? It's a good thing, but it's not ready to be mass-produced in a short time. Although I can't wait to make 1,000,000 Soul Pearl grenades in one night. But, sigh, Wang Lan, do you know how many spiritual imprinting masters there are in Jade State who can imprint Takashi Hoshi skills? I don't know. 3,000 people. Spiritual imprinting masters are even rarer than medical Takashi Hoshi masters. There are at least 70 to 80,000 medical Takashi Hoshi masters in the country, but there are only 3,000 spiritual imprinting masters. If each of them makes a soul pearl grenade in a day, they might not be able to fill our arsenal in a year. Moreover, most of these 3,000 people are Takashi Hoshi masters who specialize in spiritual power, and their Takashi Hoshi skills are average. Making soul pearl grenades is different from imprinting skills. Imprinting skills can imprint the Takashi Hoshi skills in other people's minds into the soul pearl. But soul pearl grenades can only be used to create the Takashi Hoshi skills. If you can't imprint the Takashi Hoshi skills, you won't be able to imprint the spiritual power required to activate the Takashi Hoshi skills into the soul pearl. In this way, the requirements for spiritual imprinting masters have to be raised again. Teacher, throughout the history of mankind, we seem to have been raising the requirements, right? Wang Lan said with a smile. From simple to complex, isn't this the process of mankind's evolution? It's applicable to all walks of life. You're right. In other words, Wang Lan, you've been hiding your strength all this time, haven't you? Suddenly, Zheng Gong looked at Wang Lan with a smile, causing Wang Lan to feel uncomfortable from head to toe. Every time I want to test your learning progress, you always give me a surprise. Not only did the quality and quantity meet my expectations, but it also looked like it was a piece of cake. I was thinking that even if you've exceeded my estimation of your strength, it shouldn't be by much. After all, you've only been learning for 2 months. If I had seen it with my own eyes, I really wouldn't have known that you had already reached the level of a level 7 skill engraving master. What kind of strength does level 7 refer to? Able to imprint an A-class Takashi Hoshi skill. In order to create a Soul B grenade, one needs to be at least at the 7th rank. I'm sorry, but you underestimated me again. King complained in his heart. I will apply for a patent for you. Have you thought a name for this technology? Let's go with the soul or grenade then. I think it fits quite well. As for the patent, forget it. It was a contribution to the country. What's the point of having a patent? Young man, Zheng Gong gently patted Wang Lan's shoulder. I'm very pleased that you have a patriotic heart. However, to give up the benefits that belong to you is not patriotic, but foolish. You said that this technology is a contribution to the country for free. After you register the patent, you can just give it to the country for free. Not only can the patent bring you substantial benefits, but there are also many intangible benefits that really exist. Not to mention anything else, thousands of years later, when a history teacher talks about the Soul Bead Grenade and the history of the Soul Bead Grenade, how could he not mention the inventor of the Soul Bead Grenade? Wang Lan? Looking at history, how many heroes were there in the 5,000 years since the beginning of human civilization? How many of them were really recorded in history? Even the leaders of the State Affairs Committee of the Jade State might not be recorded in history thousands of years later. This is far away. Let's talk about the near future. Your contribution to the country will bring you benefits for thousands of years. This will bring you an unimaginable prestige. Prestige is more important than strength. If you have prestige, others will be willing to invest in you and follow you through life and death. Because of your prestige, no one will dare to offend you or treat you rudely. This is because they cannot bear the consequences of being scolded. Human society is very complicated, and in your eyes, there might only be mutated beasts and demons. But in fact, there are a lot of them. Didn't you meet that enemy of the Duanmu family not long ago? With this patent, the Duanmu family will not dare to touch you again. Thank you, teacher. Wang Lan bowed deeply to Zheng Gong. Even without this patent, the Duanmu family will not dare to touch him. Zheng Gong helped Wang Lan to register the patent. Zheng Gong is more familiar with this and can settle it in a few days. When Dong Xuebing returned from Zheng Gong's office, it was already 3 p.m. When Dong Xuebing returned to his dormitory, his phone rang. Master Jun? I'm Xiao Dong. Master Jun. Wang Lan woke up immediately. Did the plan start suddenly? Why didn't the Heavenly Sword Bureau inform him? But Wang Lan calmed down immediately. What is it? It's like this, the thing you asked me to look into last time. I have some leads. The other party wants me to ask how many goods you have in your hands? 200. Wang Lan's voice was very short, and he sounded a little impatient. 200. Master Jun, does your classmate have any goods? 200 is not enough? Wang Lan's lips curled into a devilish smile. Then will 10 mid-grade soul beads be enough? Enough, enough. My friend wants to treat Brother June to a meal. Brother June, do you have time? Can you do me the honor? Where? Putting down the phone, Wang Lan took out the face-changing mask and put it on. Suddenly, the mask was like the mask of a monster. In the blink of an eye, it wrapped around Wang Lan's head and turned into another person. Not only can this mask change the face, but it can also hide the aura of a Takashi Hoshi. Even if a perceptive Takashi Hoshi appears, it can also block the perception. However, the premise is that Wang Lan can't use star power. Once he does, the mask will automatically fall off. The Takashi Hoshi who made this mask didn't cultivate his professional skills. With this kind of talent, at the later stage, he can definitely hide the Takashi Hoshi without affecting the Takashi Hoshi's strength. After changing his clothes, he took the suitcase and set off. However, on second thought, he took out the envelope box from the suitcase and put the ordinary soul beads and the middle-grade soul beads into the suitcase in a disorderly manner. Then he left. Wangjiang Fengyue was a famous restaurant in Shanghai. It was located in the Triangle area, surrounded by the river on three sides, and was the landmark and brand center of the Wangjiang Triangle area. Behind Wangjiang Fengyue was a bustling commercial street with many tourism, leisure, and entertainment projects. The place where Chen Xiaoping met Wang Lan was in the private room on the third floor of Wangjiang Fengyue. Wang Lan got out of the Pentium sports car, and a young man jogged to Wang Lan's side. Master June, you're here? Let's go. Wang Lan was playing the role of a rich second-generation heir, the kind that was arrogant and domineering and cool. So his tone was a little aggressive. Carrying the suitcase, Wang Lan followed the young man into Wangjiang Fengyue and took the elevator up to the third floor. After a few turns, they arrived at the innermost private room. The window of the room was facing the Pu River. If anything happened, they could jump into the river directly. Whether it was escaping or committing suicide, this was a good place with good feng shui. Brother June, let me introduce you. This is Brother Ping. The extra soul beads we got were all collected by Brother Ping. The price is very fair. Brother Ping, this is Brother June, the second young master of the Liu family in Shanghai. Nice to meet you, Brother June. I've met your big brother, Liu Changjun. Back when we were exploring space in the Eastern Sea, Liu Changjun led a 30-man team straight into the heart of the Beast defensive line. Even now, when I think about it, my blood still boils. Looks like you don't know me very well. Wang Lan said coldly. Young Master Jun's words. I don't quite understand. Those who know me know that don't mention Liu Changjun's name in front of me. Let's cut the crap. Did you bring money? Hearing this, Chen Xiaoping's expression became a little awkward. Young Master Jun, I'm treating you to a meal today and get to know Brother June, so you didn't bring money? Brother June, this is our first time meeting. Let's get to know each other and be friends. I have a lot of friends. I don't need you. Wang Lan stood up and was about to leave. Brother June, please wait a moment. Looks like Brother June brought soul beads. Saying this, Chen Xiaoping's eyes kept glancing at the suitcase in Wang Lan's hand. Can you let me see the goods? Wang Lan casually placed the suitcase on the table and opened it. A pile of soul beads was messily piled up in the suitcase. Chen Xiaoping's heart ached at the sight of the clashing sounds of the weapons going back and forth. These were soul beads, and there were a few mid-grade soul beads in there. You just put them together like marbles? What if they get scratched? See? Wang Lan said coldly and closed the suitcase. I'm leaving. Call me when the money is ready next time. Young Master June, do you want to leave your phone number? I can inform young Master June next time. Dong Fei Fei has it. Contact him. I don't want to be involved with you. People like you won't be able to jump around for long. If one day you fall, don't implicate me. Saying this, Wang Lan carried the suitcase and left without looking back. Brother Ping, don't be angry. Young Master June is usually like this. But don't worry, young Master June has a lot of soul beads in his hands. Moreover, there are a lot of Takashi Hoshi family members like young Master June in Jinyu University. They didn't awaken their talent, but they have a special identity. They can get a lot from their family. Do I look angry to you? Chen Xiaoping smiled faintly as his eyes flashed. Wang Lan's behavior made Chen Xiaoping somewhat unhappy. So what if Lu Xiaojun is a Takashi Hoshi family member? In the end, he's just a muggle. However, it's normal for Lu Xiaojun to not want to be involved with him. On the contrary, it made Chen Xiaoping believe that Wang Lan wasn't here to fish. After all, if he really wanted to fish from him, wouldn't getting close to him be the right way? Chen Xiaoping himself knew that doing this kind of business was just a grasshopper after autumn and wouldn't be able to jump around for more than a few days. Sooner or later, he would be caught red-handed and then pick up soap in prison for the rest of his life. But what could he do? Once you've boarded a pirate ship, you can't get off. One was that he might go in to pick up soap in the future. The other was that he would go in to pick up soap tomorrow. Chapter 280. Boss, didn't I warn you that things are a little tense recently? Don't contact me unless it's something important. Boss, Dong Feifei contacted me today, that trash student. Put those soul orbs in school aside for now. Don't collect them for now. No, Dong Feifei introduced someone. He's the second young master of the Liu family in Shanghai, Lu Xiaojun. I was thinking that if I could get in touch with Lu Xiaojun, I could use him as a springboard to enter Jinyu University. Everyone in Jinyu University is a rich second generation. Many of the Takashi Hoshi family's direct descendants who haven't awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent are studying there. That Lu Xiaojun actually came to find me with 200 soul orbs today. He put them all in his suitcase. My heart ached when I saw that. 200 soul orbs? That's quite a lot. 200 soul orbs, even on the black market, would be worth millions. Boss, it's not just 200 normal soul orbs. There are also 10 middle-grade soul orbs. Are you sure? Xiao Qing's tone finally changed. I saw it with my own eyes. How can I not be sure? If it's the Liu family, it wouldn't be too difficult to take out 10 middle-grade soul orbs. It's just that. I don't know if I can believe it. After all, at this time, it could be a trap. Xiao Qing lowered his head and pondered for a long time. You, tell me exactly what Lu Xiaojun said and what he did. Immediately, Chen Xiaoping imitated Wang Lan's tone and replayed the scene that happened this afternoon. He doesn't want to get involved with you and only wants you to find Dong Feifei. He wants to keep a distance from you? That's right, I think so too. Is he in a hurry to make a deal? Is he short of money? I don't see him in a hurry. The feeling he gives me is straightforward. He doesn't want to bargain or dawdle with me. His attitude is as if he'll immediately hand over the money and the goods. Then we won't owe each other anything. Is that so? You can contact him again. If the other party is sincere about making a deal, money isn't a problem. Boss, then what's the price? Let's go up to 30,000 for one normal soul orb. So, 6 million. 10 middle-grade soul orbs for million, 10 million in total. Isn't it too harsh? Ruthless my ass. That's the market now. If he wants it, he can take it. If he doesn't, then forget it. All right, understood. The next day, Wang Lan went to class as usual. He went to the library, the medical department, and looked for Zheng Gong. At noon, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu agreed to have lunch in the cafeteria. Jiang Xinyu tucked her long hair behind her ears. In Wang Lan's eyes, that action was exceptionally beautiful. Especially the exposed, snow-white skin behind her ears. Wang Lan couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Eat your food and don't look around. Oh, Wang Lan smiled and buried his head in eating. Jiang Xinyu didn't eat slowly, but her movements were very elegant. Recalling Wang Lan's silly look just now, Jiang Xinyu's mouth curved into a smile. His phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Hello, who is it? When Wang Lan suddenly spoke in such a tone, Jiang Xinyu paused and looked at Wang Lan with a puzzled expression. Obviously, Wang Lan used a fake voice and disguised his personality. Jun Xiao, it's me, Chen Xiaoping. How did you get my phone number? I got it from Dong Feifei. I want your goods. 10 million in total. What do you think? 10 million? Isn't that too harsh? 200 soul orbs and 10 middle-grade soul orbs are worth 30 million. That's at the soul orb exchange. We don't do regular transactions here. That's the price. If Jun Xiao thinks it's suitable, then we can trade. If not, then we can't trade. Sure. When? 3 p.m. today, same place. Okay. After saying that, he hung up the phone. What's wrong? Do you have official business? I'm going to catch a water ghost. No problem. It's a small matter. Be careful. I know. You still don't trust me? Because he had a mission in the afternoon, Wang Lan gloriously skipped class again. After parting with Jiang Xinyu, Wang went straight back to the dormitory to take an afternoon nap. He only got up around 2 p.m. and left. It was Wang Jiang Fengyue again. It was the same private room, but this time it was only Qin Xiaoping. Jun Xiao, you're here. You left in a hurry last time and didn't even eat a bite of the dishes on the table. You should at least give me some face this time, right? Wang Jiang Fengyue's dishes are one of the best in Shanghai. Tisk, treat it as if I haven't eaten before. Don't talk nonsense. I don't like to drag things out. Pay up and deliver the goods. After saying that, Wang Lan casually placed the suitcase on the table. Jun Xiao, can I check the goods? Wang Lan opened the suitcase and gestured for the other party to do as he pleased. Seeing so many soul orbs casually placed in the suitcase, Qin Xiaoping's heart ached. Although they were the same as glass marbles, they were indeed worth 10 million. Jun Xiao, why don't you put them in a mold one by one? Even if it's a piece of cloth would be good. Tisk, is there a need to play with marbles? Are you done? If so, transfer the money. Jun Xiao's account number is... Still need an account number? Just call the penguin number. As he spoke, he took out his phone. Qin Xiaoping saw that Wang Lan was so straightforward and didn't look like he was asking questions at all. In addition, he still wanted to use Wang Lan as a springboard to enter Jinyu University. Thus, he added the penguin number without hesitation. After adding the penguin number, Qin Xiaoping went to make a call. After a while, a notification popped up on Wang Lan's phone. 10 million jade coins. The deal is done. I'm leaving. If there are more goods in the future, I'll contact you, but you're not allowed to contact me. Understand? Understood. Brother Jun, let's eat? No need. Wang Lan turned and left without looking back. Qin Xiaoping stood by the window and watched Wang Lan drive away in his sports car. The corners of his mouth slowly cracked open into a smile. He really is looking down on people. I don't understand. What qualifications does a muggle like you have to look down on me, a top student of Shanghai, Cebu Gakuen? Wang Lan had just returned to the dormitory. Before he could take off his mask, his phone rang. Hello, Uncle Ming. How'd it go? Everything went well. Great. When are you going to meet his boss? Meet? No. No. According to the plan, shouldn't you not trust Qin Xiaoping and ask to meet him online directly? He should have contacted his boss by now. Your request will definitely reach his boss's ears. It's worth at least 20 million soul orbs. His boss has no reason not to agree to your request. Uncle Ming, according to your plan, it doesn't conform to Lu Xiaojun's character at all. Who is Lu Xiaojun? He's the second son of Shanghai's Lu family. He doesn't lack money, and he doesn't lack soul orbs. Do you know the mentality of this kind of rich second generation? He doesn't trust Qin Xiaoping and wants to discuss business with him online. Please, this kind of rich second generation doesn't care about business at all. As long as the money is there, it's enough for him to live freely. Besides, once you ask to do business with his boss, the other party will be alerted immediately. Even if they don't know if I'm bait, they will definitely be on guard. Now that the situation is tense, they would rather not do business than take the risk. Then you change a plan? This kind of thing can only be done at the last minute. What about the soul orbs? I sold them. Cough, cough, cough. Sold them? You really sold them? How much did you sell them for? 10 million. You're a prodigal son. You sold a soul orb worth 30 million for 10 million. You, don't worry. The soul orb has my spiritual imprint. After 24 hours, it will send out the location. At that time, we can follow the soul orb and find their nest. Don't worry, everything is under control. You can do this in the soul orb. Why didn't I know about it? That's a new method of usage developed by Shanghai Cebu Gakuen. My plan is simpler and more effective. Don't worry. Next time, let me know if you change the plan. Understanding, he hung up the phone, threw it aside, and lay on the bed with his arms and legs spread out. Beep, beep. Are you done yet? Wang Lan picked up his phone again and saw that it was a call from Zheng Gong. Wang Lan, come to the director's office immediately. On the other side, Chen Xiaoping carefully avoided the cameras and used his astral power to sense. After confirming that no one was secretly watching him, he left leisurely with the box. That's right, Chen Xiaoping was not as simple as he seemed. In other words, those who could enter Shanghai Sibu Gakuen were not simple. Some people would say that they were good at fighting, so why couldn't they enter Shanghai Sibu Gakuen? Yet, those who looked like weaklings were able to receive a recommendation notice early on. Being able to fight was not the only criterion for a school to recruit students. It could only be said to be one of the criteria. Although the number of people recruited by other criteria was far less than those who could fight, if it was just fighting, then the investigation and support courses would be closed. Not every healer could fight as well as Wang Lan. Other than Wang Lan, there were less than 5 people in the class who could fight. If the girls in the class were placed in the provincial martial arts competition, forget it, they would not even be able to enter the city's representative team. This was because they were extraordinary in a certain way, or if they had a rare ability, an exception could be made for them. Chen Xiaoping's talent was astral power perception. Moreover, his ability to sense astral power was among the top 3 in Shanghai Sibu Gakuen. Sometimes, family conditions were not an obstacle to development. No matter how hardworking people were, they could not compare to those who had a trump card from the beginning. Chen Xiaoping could sense any cluster of astral power within a 5-kilometer radius. In other words, there was no need for Takashi Hoshi to use Takashi Hoshi skills. Even if he stood there, Chen Xiaoping would be able to detect him. If it were not for Wang Lan's face-changing mask that could block astral power, Chen Xiaoping would not have contacted him after seeing him. The reason why the Heavenly Sword Bureau hadn't been able to find any evidence against him was because many people knew that he was doing this kind of business. No one could monitor him. As long as he avoided the cameras, he had nothing to fear. When he came to a place where there was no one, Chen Xiaoping dialed a number. "Boss, I got the goods." Everything went well. "Is there anything unusual about him?" "No. He ran faster than I did. It was as if I would eat him up." "That's good. I'll send you the meeting location later." "All right, boss." "Boss, since I've taken such a big risk, can you give me some commission?" "Don't even think about it. That's the rule. I'll give you a red packet." "Thank you, boss." Chapter 281. Di Lao wasn't the only one in the dean's office. Vice Dean Nangong was also there. When they saw Wang Lan enter, 3 pairs of eyes instantly looked at Wang Lan. "Wang Lan, I heard from Professor Zheng that you were the one who invented the soul pearl grenade?" The vice dean asked hurriedly. "Yes." Wang Lan didn't hesitate and quickly replied in an obedient manner. "What grade of soul pearl grenade can you create?" "C grade? Will B grade work?" "In theory, the grade of the Takashi Hoshi technique I master will determine the grade of the soul pearl grenade I can create. However, the prerequisite is that I need a corresponding soul pearl and enough astral power to release the Takashi Hoshi technique. Is that so? Then, can you create an A-grade soul pearl grenade?" Vice Dean Nangong asked excitedly. "It shouldn't be a problem, but I need a mid-grade soul pearl." "What about S-grade?" Di Lao suddenly asked. Both Dean Nangong and Zheng Gong were stunned when they heard this. S-grade Takashi Hoshi techniques could only be mastered by galaxy-grade cultivators. Wang Lan had just broken through to Nebula, so theoretically, he shouldn't possess them. "I should be able to," Wang Lan answered softly. "Dean Nangong, give Wang Lan a mid-grade fire element soul pearl." "Okay, I'll go now." After Dean Nangong left in a hurry, Di Lao looked at Wang Lan with a loving smile. "I didn't misjudge you. Your talent is even higher than your mother's. I'm not talking about the improvement of your strength, but the creation aspect. You invented the soul pearl grenade. Its value to the human race far surpasses that of a top-notch expert." "Dean, you're overpraising me." "I'm not overpraising you. I'm very excited right now. You created the vaccine for the Takashi Hoshi's poison and completely solved our disadvantage against the poison-type beasts. Now, you invented the soul pearl grenade. With these 2 achievements, your name will go down in history. On behalf of the human race, on behalf of the human race, thank you. Dean, what are you saying? Aren't I also part of the human race? Indeed. Soon, Dean Nangong returned with a bright red mid-grade soul bead. He solemnly handed the mid-grade soul bead to Wang Lan. A mid-grade soul bead was at least a galaxy-grade mutant beast or demons. A galaxy-grade cultivator was already a very powerful enemy. Every galaxy-grade beast that wreaked havoc took the lives of at least several star, blazing Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan took the soul bead and slowly closed his eyes. Astral power surged around him, and a visible mental strength was imprinted in the soul bead. It took Zheng Gong half an hour to create a soul pearl grenade, and it was only at the level of a C-rank Takashi Hoshi. However, Wang Lan could inscribe an S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill in 20 minutes. If he were to imprint the same Takashi Hoshi technique, Wang Lan would only need 1/10 of Zheng Gong's time. After waiting patiently for 20 minutes, the astral power around Wang Lan dissipated. Dean, teacher, it's done. What Takashi Hoshi technique did you imprint? Earth's surging sea of flames. Sure enough, it's been about 4 months since I gave you the Earth's surging sea of flames, right? How well have you mastered it? It shouldn't be a problem for actual combat. Let's go. Let's go to the Takashi Hoshi technique testing ground and see if this S-rank soul pearl grenade is useful. The 4 of them left together. After walking for half an hour, they arrived at the Takashi Hoshi technique testing ground. Dean Nangong had already mastered how to use the soul pearl grenade. It was nothing more than using mental strength to trigger the fuse in the soul pearl and then throwing it out. After the soul pearl was triggered, it instantly emitted a bright red light. Dean Nangong threw it out forcefully. It turned into a parabola and landed in the middle of the Takashi Hoshi technique testing ground. Many senior students who were practicing the Takashi Hoshi technique in the technique testing ground also came over to watch curiously. When they saw Dean Nangong throw out a mid-grade soul pearl, they all had a baffled look on their faces. Suddenly, the mid-grade soul pearl emitted a strong fluctuation of astral power. A red ray of light, like a magic array, spread out with the soul pearl as the center. In the blink of an eye, the magic array spread out to a distance of 30 meters. The moment the formation was formed, a raging flame gushed out. The flame was at least 3 meters tall. The students who saw this had their mouths wide open, as if they had seen a ghost. The control is not as good as when someone is using it personally, but the power is not bad. Moreover, the duration is quite good. Unless the astral power in the soul pearl is exhausted, the Takashi Hoshi technique will continue to be released. If a star-blazing team carries 10 of these soul pearl grenades, their combat power will reach the late-stage galaxy realm. Not only that, you didn't consider the terrain. If it's in a suitable terrain, even if it's just a soul pearl grenade, it can at most cause 500 damage. Dean Nangong became excited when he heard this. He looked at Wang Lan excitedly, as if he had seen a shiny ingot of gold. Rich, Cebu Gakuin of Shanghai had picked up a treasure. No, not a treasure, but a treasure trove. Ha! Not bad, not bad. Wang Lan, make more of these soul pearl grenades in your spare time. Dean Nangong laughed excitedly. Dean, my studies are very important. I have 10 courses. Apart from studying, I spend almost all my time on developing the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine. I really don't have time. Developing the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine required 5,000 experience points and 200 to 300 skill points. However, making a soul pearl grenade required nothing. Wang Lan was not stupid, so he knew what to choose. Developing the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine is not in a hurry. Anyway, there are not many poison-type alternate spaces in Jade State. On the other hand, the Soul Pearl Grenade can bring the most benefits to Jade State. Dean, I am alone. Even if I don't eat or drink and work hard, I can only produce a few Soul Pearls a day. It is like a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. If we want to solve the problem of Soul Pearls production, we have to solve it from the root. From the root? How do we solve it? Increase the number of spiritual imprint masters. Let them work together to imprint the skill. Of course, we will arrange this. However, You're the only one who can imprint the S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill. If you have time, make more soul pearl grenades. If you need soul pearls, come to me. It seems that we have to raise the graduation threshold of spiritual imprint. Di Lao's eyes flashed. Wang Lan, what is the minimum requirement to make soul pearl grenades? Imprint the Takashi Hoshi skill into the soul pearl. This is the minimum requirement. As for the level of Takashi Hoshi skill, it depends on the individual's strength. Good. Raise the graduation threshold of spiritual imprint to level 6. If you can't pass level 6, you won't be able to graduate. Di Lao slaps the table and shouts in a mighty and loud voice. Many of the surrounding students are so scared that they stagger and almost fall down. Did he have to be so cruel? Since it came from Di Lao's mouth, it was most likely the case. Why? Why did he suddenly raise the standard? Did he have any democratic spirit? You're directly raising the difficulty of graduation from difficult to hell. Wang Lan glanced over and saw that many students were already posting. He reckoned that it wouldn't be long before the news of raising the graduation level of spiritual imprint would flood the campus internet cafe. The situation wasn't good. It was better to run away quickly. He hurriedly said goodbye to Di Lao and Di Nangong and ran away after getting permission. It was already dusk. Wang Lan also saw that it was almost dinner time. He decided to go back after dinner. When he returned to the dormitory, He Jing and Ming Guodong hadn't returned yet. Wang Lan took a shower and took out his phone with a wretched smile on his face. Chun Xiaoping obviously lived on the second floor of the male dormitory. At this moment, he was leaning on the bed with his upper body naked. Just now, his account had an extra 200,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan was the commission, and 100,000 yuan was the red packet that boss had given him. Chun Xiaoping didn't know how long he could work. Or perhaps, before he graduated, the Heavenly Sword Bureau would come to the school to take him away. Even if he was incomparably confident that he was very careful and vigilant every time. However, he believed in one sentence more. Sooner or later, he would have to pay for what he did. If you often walk by the river, how could your shoes not get wet? In a trance, Chun Xiaoping remembered a day last year when his father's company had a serious accident. The negligence of safety precautions was set as an example. His father was thrown into jail, and his family had to bear a huge amount of compensation. They sold everything that could be sold and converted into cash, but they were still short of a few 100,000 yuan. At that time, his mother and 2 younger siblings even had problems eating. At this time, boss came to find him. Although he knew that once he did it, there would be no turning back in this life, and he would be completely on the road of no return. But Chun Xiaoping still did it. Even if he could borrow money from his classmates, he could slowly pay it back in the future. But between easy and difficult, Chun Xiaoping chose easy. At that time, he thought that as long as he showed his value in the future, the country might give him amnesty. In addition, Chun Xiaoping also hated the price of soul orbs. He always felt that the soul orb exchange monopolized the soul orbs at a high price, which was actually exploiting Takashi Hoshi. In a moment of hot-headedness and luck, he broke through for the first time. After calming down, he could no longer turn back. His only hope now was that boss could keep his promise and only last until he graduated. After graduation, there would be lonely shadows in the cold river, passers-by. According to boss, they had big shots behind them. He didn't know how long these big shots could protect them. Ding-dong. With a soft sound, the phone rang. Chun Xiaoping picked up his phone and received a transfer notification. He opened the penguin number, but his face was stunned. Young Master June transferred 100,000 jade coins to you. Looking at the postscript, there were only 2 words. Red envelope. Chun Xiaoping reached out his hand and was about to click to accept. However, his hand suddenly paused. He had a bad premonition. But this premonition wasn't strong, just a little uneasy. But looking at the amount on the red envelope, Chun Xiaoping still clicked. The other party has received. Seeing the phone notification, Wang Lan revealed a smile. Xiao AI. Has the implantation been successful? It has been successfully implanted. Find his address book and contact. Yes. Chun Xiaoping was indeed a very vigilant person. The phone that Xiao AI sneaked into should only be a spare phone. Even if this phone was turned upside down by Xiao AI, Wang Lan still couldn't find what he needed. But it didn't matter, at least the bait had been released. The soul orbs were traded at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which meant that at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the spiritual fluctuations would be stimulated. At that time, wherever the soul orbs were, it would be the other party's nest. Chapter 282. F***CK. A sudden shout interrupted Wang Lan's contemplation. Wang Lan hurriedly got up from the bed and opened the door in his slippers. F***CK. 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 He Jing grabbed a pillow and threw it on the sofa. Wang Lan looked at the helpless Ming Guodong beside He Jing with a dumbfounded expression. What's wrong with this guy? Was he cuckolded? F***CK off. I don't even have a girl. How could that be? Wang Lan, do you know that the graduation level for spiritual imprint is 2 grades higher? Wang Lan's Adam's apple moved slightly. Know that. How did you know? He thought that Wang Lan would jump up in excitement like him and then curse the school for being stupid. Then the two of them would hug each other and wail. But Wang Lan's reaction shattered the image in his mind like a mirror. Even why don't I know? No. Haven't you always been oblivious to the outside world and only focused on reading the books of the sages? You're usually as uninformed as a primitive person, so how come you're so well-informed now? It's related to my personal interests, so I'm not uninformed. Wah, He Jing wailed again. Spiritual imprint. It's already very difficult to pass the Level 4 exam. Level 6 spiritual imprint. Just thinking about it is terrifying. We're only in our first year, so it's considered good for us. As long as we work hard and study hard, there's still hope to pass the Level 6 exam. You have to think about those seniors in their 3rd and 4th year. They're the ones who are miserable. That's true. Many seniors haven't even passed the Level 4 exam, and they're still working hard to graduate. What's worse are those who have already passed the Level 4 exam. I thought I could sit back and relax after passing the Level 4 exam. Now, I have to take another 2 exams. Thinking about them, I don't know why, but my mood suddenly feels much better. Quick, open the campus forum. It's so noisy, but I heard that this decision was made by Di Lao himself. I'm afraid this petition will sink like a stone into the sea. By the way, why did Di Lao suddenly make this decision? There were no signs at all? He Jing looked at Wang Lan curiously and asked. Her gaze made Wang Lan feel a little guilty. Why are you looking at me? How would I know? Di Lao must have his reasons for making such a decision. I heard that it was suggested by a student. At that time, there were a few seniors there. One of the students seemed to say something about increasing the number of spirit sealers. The people present at the time didn't hear it clearly, so they don't know the situation. No matter what, if the person who suggested it is found out, what do you think will happen to that person? In an instant, a scene suddenly appeared in Wang Lan's mind. He was madly fleeing in the academy, and behind him was a dense swarm of students. Wang Lan, you bastard, it's all your fault that I have to take 2 more tests. I didn't even pass the CET 4 test, but you made me want to take the CET 6 test. I don't deserve to be a son. Bastard die. Instantly, Wang Lan shuddered. He definitely couldn't leak this out. If this was leaked out, he would really be beaten to death, right? Wang Lan returned to the dormitory and opened the school's forum. As expected, the current hot topic was the post about increasing the level of the Spirit Sealer test. The discussion was extremely heated. However, there were also rational students who analyzed that the reason why the school suddenly made this decision must be that the Spirit Sealer had become a national weapon. Although they didn't know why, they were sure that the country needed Spirit Sealers, and the more the better. Previously, the purpose of passing the CET 4 test was for the inheritance of the Takashi Hoshi technique. Then, passing the CET 6 test wasn't just for the inheritance. This was because inscribing the Takashi Hoshi technique on the soul pearl was also a kind of inheritance. Compared to inscribing it in someone's brain, the difference wasn't that big, but the difficulty was double. The next day, Wang Lan carefully passed the day. Fortunately, no one paid attention to Wang Lan at that time. Even the seniors who heard Di Lao's words at the scene didn't remember what Wang Lan looked like. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wang Lan took out his laptop right on time. When he opened Xiao AI's software, the map was quickly pulled up. On the map of Shanghai, a red dot kept flashing. Wang Lan quickly called Ming Yi and ran to the school gate. After standing at the school gate for 5 minutes, the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car stopped next to Wang Lan. "Get in the car." "Where is it?" Ming Yi asked hurriedly. The soul pearl that was sold this time was displayed at Dongling Public Cemetery. This is strange. Could the headquarters of this black market trading network be in the cemetery? This is really F*King creative. However, it is indeed quite secretive. Not many people come to the cemetery. At night, there is no one. If they want to hold a meeting in the cemetery, they really don't have to worry about being reported. More than 10 cars got on the highway and sped toward the Dongling district. Shanghai was a super metropolis. Since the era of the Jade States dynasty, Shanghai had been the other capital of the Jade State. With the Yangtze River as the boundary, there was even a central system operating in both the north and the south. Therefore, Shanghai's prosperity had a historical foundation. Shanghai had a permanent population of 17 million. Nearly 20 million people were crowded in Shanghai. One could imagine how terrifyingly dense Shanghai's population was. It was also because of such a dense population that every inch of land in Shanghai was worth an inch of gold. Not only did the living need to buy a house to live in, but even the dead also needed to buy one. 1 square meter of the cemetery was sold at a price of 2 to 300,000. Was it not ridiculous? Ridiculous. Very ridiculous. However, the developers were right. The average price of a house in Shanghai was 80,000, but that was the price of a real estate community. Buildings could not be built in a cemetery. The dead were particular about being buried in the ground for peace. It was not appropriate to hang the ashes of the dead in the air, right? Therefore, what they bought was the size of the land. Every square meter sold was 1 square meter less. If they were unwilling, they could go to a cemetery designated by the state. It is very cheap there. Therefore, for the sake of convenience and to show their filial piety, there were many rich people. The few commercial cemeteries in Shanghai were almost crazily snatched up as soon as they opened. There were real estate speculations, chestnut speculations, and gold speculations. However, Shanghai's cemetery speculations were a spectacle. The cemetery also had property management on a daily basis. In fact, it was just a gravekeeper. However, in order to keep up with the trend, they called for property management. After the Heavenly Sword Bureau took out their documents and stated their identities, the gravekeeper actually let them in without hesitation. After entering the cemetery, the greenery was done quite well. The cemetery stretched as far as the eye could see, and the view was wide. Wang Lan, are you sure you're not mistaken? This doesn't look like the other party's lair at all. Wang Lan looked at the coordinates on the computer. It can't be wrong. Even if this isn't the lair, the batch of soul orbs I sold must be here. As he spoke, following the guidance of the map, the group of people arrived in front of a very imposing tomb. There was a small Western-style building on top of the tomb. Outside the building was a tombstone without words. "The soul orbs are in the tomb," Wang Lan said as he pointed at the tomb. "Open the tomb." At Ming Ye's command, his Heavenly Sword Bureau brothers immediately took action. The Earth-type Takashi Hoshi instantly activated the Earth Dragon Roll. With the tomb as the center, the Earth within a radius of 10 meters instantly surged like waves. Not long after, the things hidden under the earth were overturned. Under the earth, 3 huge safes slowly rose. "Oh, you're quite creative. You actually hid things in the cemetery. Even grave robbers wouldn't come to modern cemeteries, right?" Mingyi looked at the safes, and a smile appeared on his face. For such safes, even if they were blown to the sky with explosives, the safes would be guaranteed to remain intact. However, in the eyes of Takashi Hoshi, safes were a joke. A Takashi Hoshi sneered as he walked to the safes and pressed his palm gently on the safes. The alloy steel of the safes melted as if it had encountered strong acid. In the blink of an eye, the door of the safes turned into a pile of metal on the ground. Damn, bone-melting soft palm. What bone-melting soft palm? This is melting. Little Zhang's innate ability is melting. His hand can melt everything in the world. Anything that is touched by his hand will vanish into thin air. Mingyi explained. What if his hand doesn't touch it? Then it's fine. The safes were filled with small drawers. Mingyi stepped forward and pulled out a drawer. In the drawer, there were densely packed soul beads. Just one drawer, there were at least 200 soul beads. Looking at this safe, there should be at least a few hundred drawers, right? At the top, there were some gaps. It should be the mastermind behind the scenes. The drawers were stacked up to the current scale. Looking at it this way, there were at least tens of thousands of soul beads in this safe. Even if it was 50,000 soul beads, 3 safes would have at least 150,000 soul beads. Even if it was put on the market at half price, it would be worth nearly 10 billion. This was the price of ordinary soul beads. But everyone knew that ordinary soul beads were expensive, but they were worthless in front of middle-grade and high-grade soul beads. In the black market, the real deal was middle-grade and high-grade soul beads. Mingyi quickly asked his men to open the 2 safes at the back. Sure enough, it confirmed Mingyi's guess. Although there were not many soul beads in the safes at the back, most of them were middle-grade soul beads. There were a few soul beads with special attributes. With so many soul beads, even the Heavenly Sword Bureau experts who had seen storms and waves could not help but breathe heavily. Not to mention how much these soul beads were worth. With so many soul beads, how could they pile up a few Galaxy Realm experts? Fortunately, Wang Lan was relatively calm. To Wang Lan, the value of soul beads was only skill points and star power replenishment. And regardless of whether it was middle grade or low grade, it was only 1 point. This was actually very unfair. In the past, Wang Lan had used a middle grade soul bead to exchange for 100 ordinary soul beads. But now, even the soul exchange beads could not satisfy Wang Lan's gluttonous need for skill points. He could only afford to raise his skills by doing missions. Destroyed the soul bead black market warehouse. Reward: 10,000 experience points, 1,000 skill points. The system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. At the same time that Mingyi found the soul beads, Xiao Qing, who was far away in an unknown place, was suddenly awakened by the alarm. Xiao Qing hurriedly climbed down from his lover's body and rushed to the computer. When he saw the computer display the warehouse alarm and the alarm level read, Xiao Qing collapsed. This alarm level was not that the warehouse had been touched, but that the warehouse had been dug out and opened. It was hidden so well. How could it be discovered? How could it be found? What went wrong? Where did it go wrong? Suddenly, Xiao Qing remembered that not long ago, the warehouse had just received a batch of soul beads. Could it be that there was a problem with that batch of soul beads? It must be. Chen Xiaoping, how dare you betray me? Xiao Qing did not expect that every soul bead had been strictly tested by professionals and sent back to the warehouse after confirming that there was no problem. He only knew that there was a problem with the warehouse and that he needed to vent his anger. Chapter 283. Wang Lan. Chen Xiaoping suddenly left the dormitory. At around 5 o'clock, Wang Lan was sent to the school gate. Just as he was about to walk to the dormitory, Xiao AI sent him a notification. After Chen Xiaoping received Wang Lan's red packet, one of Xiao AI's clones entered Chen Xiaoping's phone. Even though there was nothing in the phone, it was still a mess. As long as Chen Xiaoping had the phone with him, he would be located. Wang Lan turned left and entered a coffee shop. Not long after, Chen Xiaoping walked toward the school gate in a panic. The school closed its gates at around 5:30. After this time, no one could enter or leave unless they had special privileges. Only Saturdays and Sundays were closed until 10 o'clock at night. Looking at Chen Xiaoping, it seemed that he had to leave the school before 5:30. Looking at Chen Xiaoping's disappearing figure, Wang Lan was not in a hurry to follow him. Chen Xiaoping was a perceptive Takashi Hoshi with extraordinary senses. The fact that he was able to shake off so many tracking experts sent by the Heavenly Sword Bureau showed how powerful he was. After leaving the school gate, Chun Xiaoping hurriedly hailed a taxi. Let's go to the bus station. Wang Lan stirred his coffee and stared at the red cursor on the map on his phone. He watched as Chun Xiaoping slowly got on the elevated road and walked west. After walking for 10 kilometers, he got off the elevated road and stopped at the big turntable in the middle of the elevated road. Wang Lan stood up and walked toward the school gate. Uncle, let me in. It's just 5 minutes. I'm just 5 minutes late. Outside the school gate, 2 girls pleaded to the guard with a pleading face. I gave you an hour and a half to eat out. How can you be late? No, the school has its own rules. Call your homeroom teacher and ask him to come and pick you up. Then, the 2 girls watched as Wang Lan walked out of the school gate like he was invisible. What about him? You're not going to follow the rules? He has access. Why don't you ask the teaching staff for access too? All right, stop dawdling. Hurry up and make the call. The temperature has dropped. Aren't you cold? Under the big wheel, Chun Xiaoping, who was sitting in the carriage, was pale and trembling uncontrollably. He raised his head stiffly and looked at the back of the driver's head. Chun Xiaoping, Brother Qing wants to see you. I really didn't expect Brother Qing to invite an ordinary person to invite me. Ha! Brother, aren't you afraid of death? Brother Qing gave me my life, and now I'm returning it to him. Suddenly, the driver's body trembled. He lowered his head stiffly, and a green drill of wind protruded from his chest. Blood gushed out, staining the carriage red. Chun Xiaoping cut open the carriage with a wind blade, and the door was opened. Just as he was about to leave, his expression abruptly changed. This time, it was no longer anger or fear, but despair. In his perception, more than a dozen experts were rushing over from all directions. There were so many experts, and he couldn't even defeat one of them. Not long after, 10 mysterious men in uniform and silver-white masks appeared around Chun Xiaoping and surrounded him. Brother Qing wants to invite you over. The Bund of Shanghai was the most prosperous area in Shanghai, with the highest concentration of rich people. There were oil tankers, beaches, and natural swimming pools on the Bund. Near the Bund, there were entertainment venues with a history of nearly 100 years, such as the Bale Palace and the Grand Theater. Luxury brands could be seen everywhere on the streets. Owning a villa on the Bund was the ultimate dream of many young dream builders, because this goal was harder than flying to heaven. On the Bund, on a mountainside near Jianghai, a seaside villa was brightly lit. Flapping sounds could be heard as a bird flew across the sky and landed steadily on the roof of the villa. The green bird opened its beak, and a spider fell out of its mouth, disappearing into the darkness in the blink of an eye. Brother Qing, it really has nothing to do with me. Brother Qing, believe me, I didn't betray you, I really didn't. Chun Xiaoping knelt in the living room, looking at Xiao Qing's bare arms and pleading emotionally. Then, why was my warehouse destroyed by the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Xiao Qing played with the ring and asked gloomily without raising his head. I don't know, Brother Qing. Think about it. If it really had something to do with me, the Heavenly Sword Bureau wouldn't have just destroyed the warehouse. They would have captured you themselves. Also, I don't know where the warehouse is. Brother Qing, we're in the same boat. If the boat capsizes, we're all done for. Other than me and the big boss, no one else knows where the warehouse is. But the Heavenly Sword Bureau was able to hit the nail on the head and hit the nail on the head. This can only mean that they know where the warehouse is. And just as I put the soul orbs you sent back into the warehouse was destroyed. It seems that there's something wrong with the soul orbs you sent. Soul orbs? Soul orbs can have, what problem can there be? Chun Xiaoping suddenly remembered that Jun Xiao had sent him a red packet of 100,000 yuan last night. At that time, he had a bad feeling. But because he didn't realize where the bad feeling came from, he didn't care. Could it be Jun Xiao? Impossible. Jun Xiao was just a playboy, and from the beginning to the end, he didn't show any intention of getting close to him. Instead, he rejected him and looked at him with eyes full of disdain. Wait. Suddenly, Chun Xiaoping realized the problem. Would someone who looked down on him from the bottom of his heart give him a red packet at night? Even if 100,000 yuan was nothing to Jun Xiao, but With Jun Xiao's attitude towards him, he wouldn't give it to him even if he fed it to a dog, right? Immediately, cold sweat dripped down Chun Xiaoping's forehead, but he definitely couldn't admit it. Although it was very likely that the problem really was with him, once he admitted it, he would die without a burial place. Even his mother, brother, and sister would die without a burial place. Brother Qing, Chun Xiaoping cried out in grief and indignation. Brother Qing, what problem can there be with the soul orbs? What problem can there be with the soul orbs? Can the soul orbs be faked? Even if it is, the soul orbs can be faked. But every soul orb has been professionally tested. How can it be a problem? Xiao Qing looked at Chun Xiaoping coldly. He had thought of this problem before. Every soul orb had been tested, and there was definitely no problem with it. However, Xiao Qing's intuition told him that the problem this time must be with this batch of soul orbs. His intuition had always been very accurate. Therefore, Chun Xiaoping had to be his punching bag. What you said might be right, but who told you to know too much about me? In this situation, I have to be very careful. So don't blame me. I have taken back all the legs that I have let out. You are not the first and will not be the last. Go down, you will not be alone. Brother Qing, Brother Qing. No, no. Xiao Qing's palm pressed on Chun Xiaoping's head. Suddenly, a purple flame sprang up from Chun Xiaoping's head and almost instantly swallowed Chun Xiaoping. Ah! With a short and hurried scream, Chun Xiaoping fell to the ground and died. The purple flame burned fiercely and quickly melted Chun Xiaoping's flesh. Not long after, the flame extinguished, leaving behind a pile of white ashes. Clean it up, Xiao Qing shouted coldly and turned to walk up the stairs. A few cloaked people wearing silver-white masks quickly took brooms and swept the ashes on the ground. This scene was all seen by Spider, who had crawled in through the crack in the door. In the current era, where Takashi Hoshi's abilities were strange and ever-changing, high-tech products were sometimes more effective than Takashi Hoshi's infiltration. With this video, Xiao Qing's crime could be considered as irrefutable evidence. However, Wang Lan felt that it was not enough. Xiao Qing might not be the mastermind behind the scenes. Otherwise, he would not have been able to create such a big scene in Shanghai without being known by the Heavenly Sword Bureau. After patiently waiting for the latter half of the night, Wang Lan ordered Spider to carefully go upstairs and quietly sneak into Xiao Qing's bedroom. Although the lights in the bedroom were off, Xiao Qing was not sleeping. Instead, he was standing by the window and smoking silently. One after another, he had no intention of stopping. Spider looked around the room. Because Xiao Qing was not sleeping, it was impossible for him to search. Then, he left the bedroom and walked to other rooms. After half an hour, Spider finally found Xiao Qing's study room. The study room was very simple. There was only a laptop and a few bookshelves. Spider jumped on the computer table. He originally planned to take a look in the drawer of the desk. However, when he passed by the computer, he paused. The laptop was still open, but the computer showed that the network connection was disconnected. Spider carefully came to the computer and checked the network connection record. He found that the laptop had never been connected to the network. This was abnormal. What was the reason why this computer had never been connected to the network? Suddenly, a few threads of spider silk came out of Spider's abdomen. What looked like spider silk was actually a line from the data street, the kind that peeled off the package plug. The spider silk came to the computer's USB port and inserted it. In an instant, the USB port was connected. Xiao AI's doppelganger entered the computer through the port. When it broke through layers of defense and entered the confidential folder, Wang Lan, who was hiding under the street lamp in the distance, smiled. Although he did not have time to see what was in the folder, with so many passwords and such a complicated encryption method, it must be something important. Originally, Wang Lan thought that Xiao Qing was just the middle part of the soul orb trading network behind the scenes. However, he did not expect that he was the mastermind behind the soul or black market. This could be seen for what he said today. Although, the real mastermind behind the scenes was the boss who provided him with soul orbs. However, it was enough to find this step. He immediately ordered Spider to copy the confidential file. It took nearly half an hour to copy 3 gigabytes of information. Suddenly, footsteps sounded outside the door. Spider immediately left the desk and hid in the abdomen of the desk. Xiaoqing came to the study room in his pajamas. He quickly came to the computer table and operated it. He deleted all the information that Wang Lan had copied and shredded the folder. Then, he reformatted it back and forth more than 10 times before he let out a long sigh of relief. He stood up and turned to leave. Spider carefully left the study room and walked out of the villa along the cracks and corners. When Spider completely left the villa, Wang Lan also dialed Ming Ye's number. "Uncle Ming, are you still busy? We have collected hundreds of thousands of soul orbs this time. Although we did not find a mastermind behind the scenes, the black market must have been hit hard and will not recover in a short time. We are all busy sorting these soul orbs. You have made a great contribution this time. Perhaps your military rank will be promoted." "Really? That's great. By the way, Uncle Ming, I found a mastermind behind the scenes." The other party suddenly fell silent. Chapter 284. What did you say just now? Although you haven't found the mastermind, you've already accomplished your goal by collecting so many soul orbs. But in the blink of an eye, you're telling me that you've found the mastermind? Do you have to be so exciting? And the problem is, we don't know how you found the soul orbs, and we don't know how you found the mastermind either. You quietly spent 2 days to solve the problem that we couldn't solve in 2 months? You're such a monster. You hurt us. In this short period of silence, Ming Yi thought a lot. In fact, Wang Lan's news came without warning, so Ming Yi didn't know what to say. Who's the mastermind? His name is Xiaoqing, a jewelry tycoon in Shanghai. But in fact, he's the mastermind behind the entire black market of soul orbs in Shanghai. I'll send you the relevant evidence. He's now in a Bun seaside villa, villa number 8. After hanging up, Wang Lan turned and walked to the school, sending Xiaoqing's information to Ming Yi through his phone. The sound of flapping wings sounded above Wang Lan's head, and the green bird slowly landed on Wang Lan's shoulder with the spider in its mouth. Wang Lan reached out and took the spider. He carefully returned to the dormitory, not wanting to disturb his 2 roommates' rest. But unexpectedly, as soon as he entered the living room, he heard the sound of his 2 roommates fighting fiercely. Looking at the time, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning, but they were still playing games. They were useless. "Action team, gather." Following Ming Ye's order, the 3 captains instantly issued the order to gather. 3 minutes later, 200 fully armed action team members had gathered. "Target Villa number 8 on the Bund. Let's go." Although Xiaoqing had been lying in bed for an hour, he still couldn't fall asleep. The uneasiness in his heart was like a sword on his neck, and every time he was about to sleep, he would be awakened by a sudden fear. He hadn't felt this fear for many years. Unable to sleep, Xiaoqing got up again, went to the window of the study, and lit a cigarette. Suddenly, there was a noise outside the study. "What's the matter?" An unknown person has appeared nearby, and there might be a situation. "Is it coming for us?" "I'm not sure." "Woo!" Suddenly, a shrill alarm sounded. Xiaoqing's expression suddenly changed. He waved his palm, and a purple flame burst out, shattering the computer on the table. "Charge out!" Xiaoqing took the lead, and 20 mysterious people with silver-white masks appeared from all directions of the villa in an instant. They gathered around Xiaoqing like phantoms, forming a cone formation. Great Earth Roar, Earth Travel Mountain, Rumble. Without any probing, without a single word, they attacked as soon as they met. Although Xiaoqing's side only had 20 people, all of them were elite experts. Xiaoqing was a peak nebula, and there were 4 mid-stage nebula cultivators among the silver-masked men. The rest were either peak nebula or late-stage nebula. There were only 3 galaxy-grade martialists among the people Ming Yi had brought. The rest were all nebula. In terms of strength, even a 200-man operation team might not be able to stop Xiaoqing, who was determined to break out of the encirclement. However, as long as the Heavenly Sword Bureau had Ming Yi, it was destined that no matter how hard Xiaoqing tried, it it would be futile. Nebula cultivators couldn't compare to galaxy-grade martialists. Similarly, galaxy-grade martialists couldn't compare to Starseed martialists. Shao Qing led his men and charged forward with irresistible force. But they instantly stopped when they met Ming Yi. Fire Dragon Pillar. Ming Yi stood quietly at the intersection. In front of him was Shao Qing's 20-man team that had broken through 2 layers of defense. Shao Qing's team charged as fast as lightning and appeared 10 meters in front of Ming Yi in the blink of an eye. At the same time, Ming Yi's body seemed to have turned into lava. The lava flowed, and the ground under his feet seemed to have turned into hellfire. A fire dragon made of magma circled around Ming Yi, trapping her in the middle. Suddenly, the fire dragon exploded like a shockwave and turned into a tsunami of lava that surged towards Shao Qing's team. Ice Crystal Flower. 2 masked men instantly appeared in front of Shao Qing's team and jointly activated the Takashi Hoshi technique. Instantly, a flower formed by frost bloomed in front of everyone. The flower quickly grew vines that wrapped around everyone in the blink of an eye. Chi. Thick smoke rose, and the 2 Takashi Hoshi cultivators who used the ice crystal flower had a drastic change in expression. Intense fear rose in their hearts. Boss, the temperature is too high. We can't take it anymore. I'll do it. Shao Qing suddenly took a step forward, and a buzzing sound surged around him. Earthquake wave. A white light emitted from his palm, and with a palm strike, the entire 3-dimensional space resounded with a buzzing sound. Boom! The tsunami of lava was shattered by the terrifying shockwave and instantly poured into the distance. This palm strike opened a path for them to retreat, but at the end of the path, there was no trace of Ming Yi. Resonance ability? You're by Xiaoyan? A voice came from the sky, and Ming Yi emitted a red light as he floated in the void. You dare to betray the Jade State? You deserve to die. As soon as he finished speaking, countless lava rain turned into arrows that fell from the sky at an unimaginable speed. Before Shao Qing and the others could react, the attack had already covered the sky and covered the earth. Screams rang out, and Shao Qing watched as his subordinates were killed by the lava rain one by one. Just as he was about to launch a counterattack, a flame arrow suddenly bombarded his chest. Boom! A terrifying explosion came, and Shao Qing's body immediately fell backward. The scorching star power rampaged through his body like a truck, destroying his body. Shao Qing struggled to stand up, but Ming Yi was already standing in front of him. Still want to struggle? Facing the powerful Ming Yi, Shao Qing could no longer summon up any resistance. Shao Qing didn't want to die. Even if he lost his freedom, at least he was still alive. The brothers of the Heavenly Sword Bureau instantly surrounded him, and 2 of them quickly sealed Shao Qing's star palace and meridians that flowed with star power. Shao Qing was captured. Take him back and search carefully. Although there was a long distance between the villas, the huge commotion caused by the battle still woke up the neighbors. The lights in the villas lit up, and many people walked out of their houses to look in the direction of Villa Number 8. Hello, the Heavenly Sword Bureau is arresting a criminal. It's dangerous outside, so please don't come out. Hello, quickly take the child inside. It's not safe outside. Soon, the lights in the villas went out one by one. Only on the top of the mountain, the Heavenly Sword Bureau dug 3 feet into the ground to search for any possible clues. Director, we found some computer fragments, probably destroyed by Shao Qing before he left. There might be confidential information hidden. Take it back and see if it can be repaired. They worked from 4 in the morning until the sun rose high in the sky. After making sure that every clue was carefully searched, Ming Yi finally went home. It was another weekend morning. Wang Lan didn't get home until 3 in the morning, and he slept very soundly. If he hadn't been woken up by his phone, Wang Lan felt that he would have slept all the way until night. Hello, Uncle Ming. Did the operation go well? Haha, I finally know why the people in Jiang province call you a mascot. You really are a mascot. At the beginning of this year, I heard that Sioux City cracked the demon spy on the first day, the magic potion on the second day, and the magic potion production workshop on the third day. I always felt that Sioux City was exaggerating your contributions and deliberately flattering you. Now I've seen it for myself. You found the soul orb warehouse on the first day and arrested the mastermind behind the scenes on the same night. I'm impressed by your efficiency. You caught all of them? Only the main culprit, Xiao Qing, was captured alive and the others were killed. Have you rested enough? Come to the bureau when you're done. The director wants to hear how you found the clues to store your experience. Okay, I'm coming. After Wang Lan hung up the phone, he quickly sank into his spiritual sea, but the system didn't prompt him that he had received experience and skill points. What's going on? Is this not over yet? Wang Lan hesitated, then put on his clothes and left the dormitory. He didn't wait for long at the school gate before the car picked him up arrived. When he arrived at the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Ming Yi greeted him. Wang Lan, why don't the Bureau give you a car? They have to send someone to pick you up every time you come to the Bureau. Isn't a car too high profile? Do you want a motorcycle? Motorcycle? Yes, a motorcycle like Flying Eagle. It can fly and transform. That's for filming a movie. Do you think it's real? The Bureau doesn't have one. Even if it did, Shanghai doesn't allow motorcycles. How about this? The Heavenly Sword Bureau does have a custom-made scooter. However, it consumes a lot of electricity. It costs 20 yuan to charge it once. Sure, the school has a charging station. I'll take the scooter. Okay, I'll apply for it. Let's go. The director is waiting for you. Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau's specifications were much higher than Sioux City's, and the area it occupied was more than 3 times the size of Sioux City. It was a long walk to the conference room. Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau's director, Cheng Jianlong, was one of the Jade State's titled experts. He had 7 departments under him. 4 of them were Star Sea Realm experts, while the other 3 were Peak Galaxy Realm experts. On the other hand, the Magic City Sky Sword Bureau had 10 Star Ocean Realm experts and dozens of Galaxy Realm experts. Although they couldn't be compared to Cebu Gakuen, they were more than enough to suppress Shanghai's experts. In addition, there was the Southeast Military District in the west, the East Sea Realm in the east, and Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai. Once there was a change in Shanghai, 1/3 of the Jade State's combat power would be gathered in the shortest time possible. Therefore, although Shanghai was a city that demons had been eyeing covetously, the signs of demons' activity in Shanghai were the smallest, and its security was close to that of the imperial capital. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Division's Special Agent, Wang Lan. Greetings to the director, greetings to the directors. Wang Lan, before you came to Shanghai, your name had already resounded like thunder in everyone's ears. How is it? Are you used to Shanghai? Director, you must be joking. Shanghai and Sioux City are only 120 kilometers apart. How can I not be used to it? It's good that you're used to it. If you're used to it, just stay in Shanghai. Wang Lan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Ha ha, it's just a joke, but it's also a serious suggestion. How did you find the warehouse of soul, orbs, and Xiao Qing? Share it so that we can learn from it. This is all luck. Although you have a mascot, that's just a joke. How can you get the glorious sun medal with luck alone? I believe that all of this is within your plan. Speak. Yes. Chapter 285. It started when I received a mission in the open and secretly contacted Chen Xiaoping. I was cultivating in Cebu Gakuen and learned the spiritual imprint technique. Using the spiritual imprint technique, I could imprint my spiritual power into the soul beads. I imprinted all the soul beads I used to fish and activated them after the transaction. After 24 hours, the spiritual power would mix with the astral power in the soul beads and produce an astral power fluctuation. I determined the location of the soul beads by locating the location of the astral power fluctuation. TSK, TSK, TSK. There's such a method? Why haven't I heard of it before? Originally, Director Ming's method was to use a fish hook to fish, but you actually imprinted a location into the bait. Your method is more direct and effective. Thank you for your compliment, Director Chong. What happened after that? Although we found the soul beads, we didn't have any clues about the mastermind. Plus, We dug out the soul beads warehouse, so we must have alerted the mastermind. How did you find Xiaoqing? We have to start from the beginning of the plan. On the surface, I had to build a good relationship with Chun Xiaoping and get in touch with the people above him. So, after completing the soul beads transaction, I sent Qin Xiaoping a red packet of 100,000 yuan. In the red packet, there was the Trojan virus I edited. Digging out the soul beads warehouse in the open had alerted the mastermind. But his warehouse was stolen by us, so he was still angry. He definitely wouldn't dare to cause trouble for the Heavenly Sword Bureau, so he vented his anger on Chun Xiaoping. Coincidentally, Chun Xiaoping's phone already had my Trojan horse, so I could locate him wherever he was taking it through the phone. Then, I followed the location to Xiaoqing's villa and used the robot to capture the scene of Xiaoqing killing Qin Xiaoping, so I confirmed that he was the mastermind. After listening to Wang Lan's plan, all the bosses were speechless. Was the plan complicated? It wasn't complicated. Even the superintendent could think of this method to solve the case. Why didn't the Heavenly Sword Bureau think of it? First, no one thought of imprinting spiritual power into the soul beads to locate the soul beads. And the later part of the plan was based on finding the soul beads' whereabouts. So, the advantage of this plan was that Wang Lan could cut in from a place that no one thought of. If the method of using spiritual imprint to locate soul orbs was made public, the black market would not dare to buy soul orbs anymore. Who knew if there was a spiritual imprint in the soul beads they collected? Coming out of the conference room, Ming Yi intimately hugged Wang Lan's shoulder. Wang Lan, you are the one who gave this great merit to your uncle. Although the original plan was feasible, the probability of success was less than 50%. I just wanted to give it a try. After all, I wouldn't lose anything if I failed. Originally, it was already a great success for me to be able to retrieve so many soul orbs. I didn't expect you to be able to find a mastermind directly. This great achievement made Lao Su from the intelligence department very jealous. You know what he told me yesterday? Wang Lan is from the intelligence department in Sioux City. How did he end up in your operation department? Even if he wanted to be affiliated, he should be affiliated with the intelligence department. Ha. As the saying goes, the fastest hands get nothing. Who asked him to not be proactive? Let's go. Our brothers are interrogating Xiaoqing. Let's go take a look. All right. In the interrogation room, Xiaoqing sat up straight with an indifferent expression. No matter how much the Heavenly Sword Bureau asked, he remained silent. Xiaoqing's face was bruised and swollen, but it did not affect his aura as a boss. Xiaoqing, our patience is limited. Whether you cooperate or not, your crime is enough for you to die many times. Where do these soul orbs come from? Where's the account book? It's better for you to confess. If you are willing to be merciful and shoot me earlier, I would have to thank you. I can't tell you where the soul orbs came from. From the start, I knew there was no turning back. So at a very early stage, I sent my women and children abroad. As for my lovers, they don't know anything. If you want to know who the mastermind is, then go to my lovers and wait for them. I've fallen. There must be some treacherous bastards who want me to die early, or even my entire family to die. Whoever wants to kill my lovers is most likely supplying me with soul orbs. Stop talking nonsense. We want to know from your mouth that the Heavenly Sword Bureau is not in the mood to clean up your mess. I'm the controller of the black market for soul orbs in Shanghai. If you capture me, the black market will not be able to recover within 5 years. Since you have already achieved your goal, why do you need to know who is the supplier? Wang Lan, who was monitoring the room, looked at Ming Yi in confusion. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Why don't you just look for it in his mind? He has long been prepared for this. He hired someone to add a seal in his mind. As long as he uses the seal, it will immediately destroy his brain. Is that so? Out in the open. At this moment, the door opened. A lieutenant from the Heavenly Sword Bureau entered and saluted Ming Yi. The evidence department just reported that the computer was seriously damaged. Xiaoqing had already reformatted the hard drive before the physical damage. Now that the physical damage is so serious, there is nothing we can do. Damn it! Ming Yi punched him angrily. We have already come this far. We were just a little bit away. Xiaoqing destroyed the computer without doing anything before breaking out. There must be something on the computer. Let the evidence department think of something. Then, Mingyi came to the microphone and said softly, "Use all means to make Xiaoqing reveal the source of the soul orbs." "Wait!" Wang Lan suddenly shouted. "Uncle Ming, the computer you're talking about, could it be the laptop in Xiaoqing's study?" "Yes." Suddenly, Mingyi turned to look at Wang Lan. "You didn't participate in the operation that day. How did you know there was a laptop in Xiaoqing's study?" "Uncle Ming, have you forgotten? I once let the spider sneak into the villa. That night, the spider robot went to the study and copied the encrypted files on the laptop to the cloud. After returning to the dormitory, I fell asleep immediately. Then I received a call from you. I forgot about it for a moment." "What the? You?" "I don't know what to say. Quick, give me the files." Wang Lan Spider didn't have the ability to store the files, so the files were uploaded to the cloud. Wang Lan told him the file number and password to the cloud. Mingyi immediately informed the evidence department to download and collect the information immediately. "Wang Lan, let's go and meet that old friend of yours." "Old friend? His real name is not Xiaoqing, but by Xiaoyan. Speaking of which, he is also one of Di Lao's people. Back then, he followed He Jinza and his brother. Later, when they heard that he died in battle, the He brothers were sad for a long time. Oof. I didn't expect him to betray the Jade State and do this business. Back then, I knew that this guy had a glib tongue and was up to no good." Mingyi took Wang Lan to the interrogation room next door, and the two interrogators quickly stood up. "Out in the open. You can leave." Mingyi looked at Xiaoqing up and down with a playful expression. Xiaoqing looked at Ming Ye's military rank, and his pupils shrank slightly. "I don't want to interrogate you now. I just want to chat with you. You want to play this trick? You want to relax my vigilance and then attack my psychological defense line? This trick has been used by the army for a long time. Don't think too much. We interrogated you before to find out the source of your soul orbs. But now, we don't need to do that anymore. We already have the encrypted folder in your computer." "Huh?" Xiaoqing suddenly laughed. "Do you think you can fool me?" The hard disk that has been reformatted dozens of times was finally blown to pieces. "If you can still read the information, I will believe you. You think too much. Do you know why we could find you last night? You can find my soul orbs warehouse. So, is it difficult to find me? If you didn't know my whereabouts, would you have done it? You are wrong. We found the soul orbs warehouse purely by accident. As for finding you, I can only say that you asked for it. Chun Xiaoping has been under our surveillance for a long time, but you brought him to your villa to vent your anger. You are really looking for death. If you didn't catch Chun Xiaoping, we don't know how to find you." "Impossible. I have a perception type expert. It is impossible for me to be monitored without being detected. Stop trying to scare me. You rely too much on Takashi Hoshi. We have a tracking device on Chun Xiaoping's body. Can a perception type Takashi Hoshi detect this thing?" When these words came out, Xiaoqing's face suddenly changed. "Moreover, the whole process of you killing Chun Xiaoping was recorded by us. Do you think we have the chance to get the content? When we interrogated you before, I didn't know that the encrypted file on your computer had already been copied by my brother. Hey, the student, speaking of which, it is also related to you. Your flaming blade is also not bad. But compared to this brother of mine, you are not even worthy to carry his shoes. Xiaoqing. No, I should call you by Xiaoyan. You. Impossible. You can't get the encrypted file. You can't sneak into my bedroom as if there is no one there. There is a perception-type barrier in my study." Xiaoqing shouted on the spot. He knew that as long as he kept the secret, the women and children he had placed abroad would be able to survive. Once these secrets were discovered by the Heavenly Sword Bureau, many people would want his entire family dead. Many people would want to burn his entire family to ashes. That's right. There is indeed a barrier, and my robot really did touch the barrier. Your perception-type barrier is very clever and very sensitive. It can be said that there is no weakness in it. Maybe this barrier was too sensitive in the beginning, accidentally touching bugs, mosquitoes, and so on. It was very annoying. Every time a fly flew over, it could set off the alarm. The villa is at the top of the mountain, surrounded by lush trees. There must be a lot of bugs and so on. So, you were bored, so you lowered the sensitivity of the barrier, right? A bird landed on your roof and didn't call the alarm, so a spider sneaked into your study without anyone noticing. Saying this, Wang Lan opened his palm. A fingernail-sized spider lay in Wang Lan's palm. Seeing this spider, Xiao Qing felt a chill run down his spine. Just last night, you smoked in your bedroom all night. And at that time, I was copying things in your study. You? Xiao Qing looked at Wang Lan in shock. After a long time, as if all his strength had been sucked out, he fell limp. I confess. Let's talk about something else first. I heard you died in battle. How did you run back to Shanghai and become Xiao Qing? Chapter 286. 10 years ago, it was you who abandoned me. It was the country who abandoned me. Xiao Qing shouted with bloodshot eyes. I guarded the border for the country. I was willing to die on the battlefield for the country. But why did you lie to me? You obviously wouldn't come to my rescue. There were no reinforcements. But you wanted me to stay behind and wait for reinforcements. 30 brothers. All of them were thinking about reinforcements until they died. They always believed that reinforcements would come, but you didn't have any plans to come. We waited for 3 days. With Jade State's reaction speed, reinforcements should have come by now. Later, it was Hellfire who saved me. My faith in the country had already collapsed in my mind. Now, I'm just a ghost who lives for money. I was arranged to do black market transactions in Shanghai to earn profits. It's as simple as that. Since you're from Hellfire, why are you still keeping secrets for those people? I've already said before that I have a woman and a child here. Although the woman and child were sent abroad by me. But as long as I reveal the people behind me, Hellfire won't let them go. Let me tell you, even if you get the transaction information, it's useless. Almost all the Takashi Hoshi families in Shanghai have transactions with me. If you really want to get to the bottom of this, then wipe out all the Takashi Hoshi families if you have the ability. In the light. At this moment, the door of the interrogation room was pushed open. The evidence department has finished downloading. All the transaction details are here. Good. Take him away. Wang Lan, let's go. Following Ming Yi to the evidence department, more than a dozen computers were quickly sorting out the information. Section Chief Ding, how is it? Your brother really has the ability to do whatever he wants. He actually got hold of such important evidence in advance. I wouldn't have known if I didn't look, but I was shocked when I saw it. The famous Takashi Hoshi families in Shanghai are all secretly selling soul orbs. Although there aren't many soul orbs, with so many of them, it's enough to become the largest source of supply in the entire black market. Have you found the goods that suddenly hit the black market? Not yet. We're looking for it. Found it. Suddenly, a short-haired girl raised her hand. Ming Shu Ding Kuluk. On September 5th, Xiao Qing ate 100,000 soul orbs in one go. 100,000 pills, he can really eat it. We only got so much this time, and he ate it all at once? 100,000 soul orbs. No wonder it brought such a huge impact to the soul orb trade. Where's the source of the soul orbs? The account book record a person named Lu Xiao, but other than the name, there is no other record. Is there a Takashi Hoshi family, surnamed Lu, in Shanghai? Wait, Lu Xiao? Why does this name sound so familiar? Wang Lan's mind raced. There seems to be a teacher named Lu Xiao at Shanghai, Cebu Gakuen. As soon as he said this, Wang Lan couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. If these 100,000 soul orbs came from Cebu Gakuen of Shanghai, then something big had happened. Soon, Ming Shu checked the list of teachers and staff at Shanghai Cebu Gakuen and found Lu Xiao's name in the finance department. Lu Xiao, director of the finance department, peak nebula cultivation. Because he was injured on the battlefield, he was assigned to Shanghai Cebu Gakuen to do chores. Because of his hard work, he was promoted and became the head of the finance department in 12 years. This guy had endured for 12 years just to make a fortune. He's F*** King Awesome, a ruthless person. Should we catch him in the open? Wang Lan asked hesitantly. After all, he's from Cebu Gakuen. It's better not to make a big deal out of it. Let's do the routine questioning first. Wang Lan, are you bringing your brothers this time? Okay. The 3 cars arrived at Cebu Gakuen. It was noon, and the students had all gone to the cafeteria after class. Speaking of which, they hadn't eaten anything since Ming Shu called them to the Heavenly Sword Bureau in the morning. Do you guys want to go to the cafeteria to eat? Wang Lan, you still have the mood to eat at a time like this? The sooner we confirm it, the sooner we can relax. My heart trembles when I think about the possibility that these 100,000 soul orbs came from the school. What are you worried about? Even if the sky falls, there's someone above to cover it. Seeing that they weren't in the mood to eat, Wang Lan didn't feel hungry anymore. When he arrived at the finance department, there was only a 4th-year senior helping out there. God, the brother was about to take out his ID when Wang Lan stopped him. Senior, is Director Liu here? The other party looked up and saw Wang Lan's sunny smile. Her eyes lit up. Director Liu is on sick leave today and didn't come to school. Why are you looking for Director Liu? Sick leave? Where's Director Liu's house? Or do you have his cell phone number? He lives in the school dormitory. I have his number, but you have to tell me why you're looking for Director Liu. Otherwise, I can't tell you. Wang Lan, what happened? A voice came from behind. Yu Riyun walked over with 2 people wearing the student union armband. Senior Yu, I didn't expect you to be alerted so quickly. The student union is not only responsible for the school's management, but also for the school's safety. 6 non-school personnel entering naturally triggered the alarm. If it weren't for you, the student union would have intercepted them. Who are they? Why did you bring them here? They're my colleagues from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. We're looking for Director Liu from the finance department. Yu Ruoyan took out her cell phone and searched quickly. After a while, she made a call. As she waited, Yu Ruoyan frowned. No one answered. Wang Lan, what's wrong with Director Liu? He either ran away or something happened to him. Let's go to his dormitory. Under Yu Riyun's lead, Wang Lan and the others quickly arrived at Liu Zhao's dormitory. When no one answered, Wang Lan kicked open the dormitory door. As expected, there was no one in the room. The wardrobe was open, and so were the drawers. Liu Xiao seemed to have left in a hurry. Let's look for him, Wang Lan said to the brothers beside him. They were professionals when it came to finding clues. Wang Lan followed Yu Riyun to the balcony after a few glances. What's going on? The Heavenly Sword Bureau wiped out an underground soul orb trading network and found a large number of soul orbs. From the underground network's transaction ledger, we found a huge amount of soul orbs. A person named Liu Xiao sold 100,000 soul orbs at once. 100,000 soul orbs. Even the Duamu family couldn't possibly be so wealthy as to take out so many soul orbs, right? So we suspect that the soul orbs came from a school. Coincidentally, Liu Xiao is the director of the finance department in the school. He has the ability to access the soul orbs in the inventory. Impossible. Even if it's him, he doesn't have the authority to withdraw the soul orbs, let alone transport so many soul orbs. Although he's in charge of finance, he needs to apply for anything he touches. But for now, this is the only explanation I can come up with. Found it. There was a sudden exclamation from inside. Wang Lan stopped talking and hurried into the dormitory. Wang Lan, we found a finger under the desk. Finger? Take it back and do a DNA comparison. Student, you look? I'm afraid it's just as we guessed. Yu Ruoyun's brows were tightly knitted together. Although Yu Ruoyun wasn't as beautiful as Jiang Xinyu, she was still more than 85 out of 100. And some women, although not beautiful, had excellent temperament. Her slight frown gave off a sense of dignity. Yu Ruoyun was tall and slender, comparable to CSCC. She gently waved her hand and called Wang Lan to her side. Wang Lan was only slightly taller than her. What's the Heavenly Sword Bureau's stance on this matter? Recently, the black market has been flooded with soul orbs, causing the price of soul orbs to skyrocket. In the long run, the soul orb trading network will lose its meaning. That's why the Heavenly Sword Bureau wants to thoroughly investigate the soul orbs. The Heavenly Sword Bureau wants the soul orb market to stabilize, not to give anyone an explanation. Of course, it would be great if they could thoroughly investigate. But now it seems that this Liu Xiao is just a scapegoat. The mastermind purposely disguised himself as Liu Xiao to escape punishment, but he didn't want his efforts to go down the drain because of a finger. At this point, even if the Heavenly Sword Bureau didn't want to thoroughly investigate, it has to be thoroughly investigated now. There aren't many people who have the authority to smuggle out the soul orbs in the inventory. Only the higher-ups of the school. Regardless of whether it's the current or former higher-ups, once this matter is exposed, it will be an unerasable shame for the school. Student you, do you also see the school's reputation as your responsibility? Wang Lan asked in surprise. My great-grandfather is the dean. With Di Lao's prestige and reputation, how can he be tainted? Even if he pokes a cesspool, Di Lao won't be tainted. No one dares to let Di Lao be tainted. Although this analogy was disgusting, it was very apt. Di Lao's prestige had already reached the level of spiritual faith. No one would think that this matter had anything to do with Di Lao. Therefore, after a thorough investigation, Shanghai Cebu Gakuen might be shamed, but it definitely wouldn't shame Di Lao. Student you, moreover, this matter isn't as simple as the sale of soul orbs. Almost all of the Takashi Hoshi families are supplying soul orbs to the behind-the-scenes transaction. The Heavenly Sword Bureau doesn't need to investigate this matter. However, Shanghai Cebu Gakuen's 100,000 soul orbs must be thoroughly investigated. Let's go and meet the dean. This matter shouldn't be delayed. Okay, soon, Wang Lan and Yu Riyun arrived at Di Lao's office again. Vice Dean Nan Gongming was also there. Riyun, you came? Student Wang Lan, you came at the right time. The country has already approved the patent that Zheng Gong applied for you. This is the authorization document. As long as you give the patent to the country won't treat you unfairly. Moreover, if other countries want to use this technology, they will have to pay you patent fees. The country will do its best to fight for this. 30 years? Dean, you can give it to me for free. I can give it to the country permanently. Let's give it 30 years first. Wang Lan straightforwardly signed the authorization document. The news of the soul or grenade will be suppressed temporarily for about half a year. During this time, the country will have to make some preparations. Once the news spreads, it will have a huge impact on the world. All right, have you been making soul orb grenades during this time? Dean Nangong felt like an annoying little demon. Yu Ruoyun wanted to say something several times, but stopped. Nangong, I think Riyun and Wang Lan have something to discuss with me. You can go back first. Okay. Dean, I will take my leave first. After Nangong Meng left, Di Lao said with a serious expression, What is it? Speak. Great-grandfather, someone might be selling the school's soul orbs. Oh? Did the student union find out? Students or teachers? No, the Heavenly Sword Bureau found out. The amount is huge, 100,000. Chapter 287. Di Lao's expression was somewhat gloomy, but he wasn't angry. Instead, he asked in a low voice, Who is it? Currently, we have found out that it's Liu Xiao, but he might have already been silenced. There must be someone else behind him. First, check the inventory and see how many soul beads have been sold. The person who had the ability to steal and sell soul beads was definitely the upper echelons of the academy. But at the same time, the upper echelons shouldn't be stealing and selling soul beads. What do they get by selling soul beads? Money? But what was money to the upper echelons of the academy? Who lacked money? They might not be as rich as a country, but they could easily earn a few million yuan a year. And this was just their net income, not including their benefits. The upper echelons of the academy, their basic necessities, their families' jobs, and their children's studies were all arranged clearly. They really couldn't think of why they would want to steal and sell soul beads. If they were purely after money, they could quit their jobs and go into the sea. They had status, and they could earn back a few million yuan within a few years. There was no reason, and they really couldn't figure it out. Wang Lan represented the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Yu Rian represented the Student Council, and Di Lao personally led them to the finance department. They took the key and entered the soul beads warehouse, and then the soul beads storage room. The Academy's inventory should have 300,000 soul beads. The head of the finance department said nervously as he looked at the bill. Check, box 1 is full. After a while, the results of the student council's count came out one after another. Box 2 is full. Box 3 is full. Yu Riyun's expression gradually became more relaxed as the results of the inventory were reported one by one. On the other hand, Wang Lan's eyebrows slowly furrowed. All the inventory was full? That didn't make sense. If that person was really Lu Xiao from the finance department, where else could he get soul beads from other than the academy? And that finger in Lu Xiao's dormitory seemed to prove that it was Lu Xiao. Reporting to the dean, the inventory is full. There are 300,000 soul beads. Great-grandfather, it seems like the 100,000 soul beads didn't come from the academy. Although that person might be Lu Xiao, he doesn't have the authority to withdraw soul beads from the academy, and such a large amount at that. Yes, it's good that it's not from the academy. Dilao nodded calmly. Wait, let me check again. Wang Lan still couldn't figure it out. Other than the academy, he really couldn't think of any other place that could produce so many soul orbs at once. Could it be that the East Sea was opening up space? If this was an open space, then the one who sold these soul beads should be the higher-ups of an open space, not Lu Xiao. After checking 2 storage cabinets in a row, he found nothing. Just as Wang Lan believed that these soul beads were not from Shanghai, Cebu Gakuen, Wang Lan opened the 3rd cabinet. In that instant, Wang Lan's expression changed. At the same time, Wang Lan revealed an astonished expression. Seeing Wang Lan's expression, everyone's hearts were raised again. Wang Lan, what's wrong? What did you find? Damn, these aren't soul beads. Wang Lan took out a bunch of soul beads and spread them out. These are freaking glass marbles. Everyone was stunned. In an instant, Yu Ruiyun took a step in front of Wang Lan and took out the soul beads. With just a glance, she was so angry that her face instantly turned pale. Because soul beads were expensive, there were many fake soul beads made of glass in the market. Moreover, glass was really a peculiar thing. It looked very similar to soul beads made of glass. It was just that they looked exactly the same from the outside. However, soul beads were, after all, extremely important to Takashi Hoshi. Soul beads contained fluctuations of astral power. Therefore, whether they were glass marbles or soul beads couldn't be hidden from Takashi Hoshi. They could only fool ordinary people who didn't know anything. Moreover, ordinary people couldn't be fooled. Due to the characteristics of soul beads, the soul beads inside were indestructible if they weren't absorbed. Even bombs couldn't destroy them, but once the astral power inside was absorbed, the soul beads would automatically shatter. Therefore, using a hammer to smash them, one would know whether they were real soul beads or not. Previously, the student council only checked the quantity, so they didn't expect the soul beads here to be glass marbles. If it wasn't for Wang Lan's sensitivity to astral power fluctuations, he would have been fooled. Using glass marbles to fool people? Who were they insulting? Everyone who knew the truth was instantly livid. Finding out the truth behind the soul beads. Reward: 10,000 experience points, 800 skill points. The system's belated notification finally came, but Wang Lan couldn't feel happy. Inform all the heads and above to come to conference room 8 for a meeting, Di Lao said in a low voice. He turned around and left the storage room with his hands behind his back. The matter of soul beads being sold wasn't a secret. Soon, almost all the leaders in the school heard about it. 100,000 soul beads were stolen and sold. This was going to turn the world upside down. Therefore, in the conference room, everyone's face was incomparably gloomy. The school's soul beads were mainly distributed to the Takashi Hoshi teachers who worked in the school. They gave up the opportunity to make a name for themselves. They gave up the opportunity to hunt exotic beasts and accumulate soul beads to teach the students in the school. These soul beads were what they deserved. Moreover, whether it was teaching tools or rewards, they all used soul beads. In the world of ordinary people, gold was a hard currency. In the world of Takashi Hoshi, soul beads were money. 100,000 soul beads was Shanghai Cebu Gakuin's annual share. Everyone has heard about the matter, right? 100,000 soul beads were sold. In the history of Shanghai, Cebu, Gakuen, no. In the history of the four major Cebu Gakuen, this has never happened before, Di Lao said slowly with a gloomy face as he leaned on his walking stick. Dean, to be able to take out the soul beads and sell them without anyone knowing, it must be someone with a certain status. At the very least, it must be a department head or above. Moreover, it must be someone from our school. I suggest that we investigate immediately. There should be a record of who went to the storage room. The person who took the soul beads should be Lu Xiao from the finance department. However, he didn't have the authority to open the password-protected soul beads. Moreover, Lu Xiao should have been killed. The Heavenly Sword Bureau found a finger in his dormitory. It might be Lu Xiao's. There aren't many people who have the authority to open the password-protected soul beads. Who didn't come? Nangong Ming's cold eyes swept across the surroundings. Suddenly, his eyes stared at the third empty seat on the left. Why didn't Vice Dean Shi come? Vice Dean Shi's father suddenly passed away 2 days ago. He went home to handle the funeral. Di Lao frowned. Call him and ask. Nangong Ming quickly took out his phone. However, after dialing for a long time, he finally put it down. No one answered. Could it be him? I'll personally lead the student council to look for him. Give this clue to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is more professional than us, Di Lao said indifferently after hesitating for a while. No, this is the school's matter. It has to be solved by the school itself. If the Heavenly Sword Bureau gets involved, the news will inevitably spread. It will have a great impact on the school's reputation. I also agree with Dean Nangong's suggestion. The school's reputation has to be considered first since something like this has happened. 100,000 soul beads is a small matter. However, if the school's reputation is damaged because of this, it will be a big problem for our school to re-rank. Everyone, the resale of soul beads is a criminal case. It should be investigated by the Heavenly Sword Bureau. After all, we are the school. We don't have the right to investigate the case or arrest anyone. This matter is settled. Hand it over to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Di Lao silently stood his ground against everyone's opinions. Nangong Ming still wanted to say something. However, after being glared at by Di Lao, he could only obediently keep his mouth shut. Now 100,000 soul beads have been stolen. The stock of soul beads is seriously insufficient. How should we solve this, everyone? How else can we solve this? Send those students who are bored to death to the 5 great wasteland spaces for internships. That's right. Recently, our school has received a few international aid missions. Originally, we want to slowly discuss the price. How about we agree? It doesn't matter if the students are out for internships or international aid. According to the usual practice, the school will not accept soul beads. So what? We won't take them for free. We will exchange them with academic credits. 10 soul beads for 1 academic credit. This won't do. Once this example is made, there will be endless trouble. Even during special times, we can't do this. Our school has many descendants of the Takashi Hoshi clan. Which one of them doesn't have soul beads? This is a disguised way of using the school's resources to buy soul beads from the Takashi Hoshi clan. Di Lao, let me see. Let's open the 9th-floor pagoda. It will be open soon anyway. This time, the 9th-floor pagoda is not only for the 4th-year students. It can be open to all students in the school. This won't do. The 9th-floor pagoda is even more dangerous than the wasteland spaces. There are many mutated beasts inside. The 4th-year students are barely strong enough. It is too dangerous to open it to all students. Not everyone can go. The school can give an evaluation. Individuals are not allowed to participate. You have to apply as a team. At least a team of 4 must have an average strength of the Galaxy Realm. Although the 4th-year students have the highest average strength, there are also many 1st-year to 3rd-year students who are considered top-notch experts among the 4th-year students. Let them go in to collect soul beads and exchange them for academic credits. This will prevent the Takashi Hoshi clan from taking advantage of this loophole. Nangong Ming's suggestion immediately received a response from the crowd. This method seemed to be pretty good. While the school was discussing the matter of opening the 9th-floor pagoda, a sudden push of news caused an uproar in Cebu Gakuen. Genius young man solves ancient problem. Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine has been invented. Poison-type beasts are no longer a threat to humans. A first-year student from Cebu Gakuen University has solved the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine successfully developed. The genetic coding formula has been successfully used in Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine editing, opening a new page in dealing with poison-type beasts. This news swept through almost all the media overnight. Regardless of whether it was mainstream news or non-mainstream news, everyone was crazily reposting it. This was because in the Kingdom of Angels, Sun Li's paper on the successful development of the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine was verified to be completely feasible and effective. When Wang Lan saw this news, the corner of his mouth curled up in disdain. What a piece of garbage. The Kingdom of Angels had the most Takashi Hoshi medical practitioners in the world. This country was rich in Takashi Hoshi medical practitioners, and at the same time, it was also a country with many Takashi Hoshi medical techniques. The Kingdom of Angels lived up to its name. Even so, a country with such strong Takashi Hoshi medical practitioners actually took half a month to verify Sun Li's paper. During this time, Wang Lan and the others had already developed hundreds of vaccines for Takashi Hoshi poison. They had already applied it, and you only just completed the verification? Do you still need to verify it? No matter how unconvinced Wang Lan was, he still needed the Kingdom of Angels to verify it. After being verified by the Kingdom of Angels, it meant that this new technology had been officially stamped, and it was an orthodox medical technique. Many countries had witchcraft, even if it had been passed down for thousands of years, because it was not verified and stamped, it was considered to be unorthodox or even deviant. Chapter 288. After being verified by the Angel Nation, not only did it cause a sensation all over the world, but the Jade State's status in the world had also risen. Over the years, the Jade State had always been the leader of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations. However, that was because of the war 70 years ago. Almost 1 billion people had died in the war. After the war, the country had been destroyed, and it took nearly 30 years to recover. Compared to the White Eagle, the polar bear was far behind. After that, the other 4 permanent members were eyeing the Jade State's position. If it were not for the fact that more than 300 countries around the world firmly recognized the Jade State would have been pushed down to the 5th position. After 30 years of development, the Jade State was once again at the top of the world. In terms of strength, it was on par with the White Eagle and the polar bear. However, these 2 countries were still unwilling to submit to the Jade State. This time, the Takashi Hoshi poison that had plagued the human race for countless years had been conquered. It was very significant for the Jade State and the world. Moreover, it was common knowledge that there were not many poison-type exotic beasts in the Jade State. The places that were really tortured by the poison-type exotic beasts were the grasslands in the southern mainland, the primeval forests in the western mainland, and the glaciers in the northwest. These places were all small countries. They were not strong, and their people were often slaughtered by exotic beasts. Due to the poison-type exotic beasts, the other countries were not willing to help even if they asked for help. After all, the damage caused by the poison-type exotic beasts was similar to that of all countries. If the poison could not be effectively suppressed, no one would be able to survive. When these small countries heard about it, they immediately celebrated excitedly. Some leaders could not wait to visit the Jade State. While the news was spreading, Wang Lan was suddenly shocked by the system in his mind. He jumped from his bed and fell to the ground. Don't worry about not knowing your friends in the future. Who doesn't know you? You have achieved world-famous achievement. You are rewarded with 2 million experience points. What did 2 million mean? Wang Lan needed 400,000 experience points to reach Nebula Level 4. Now, he had already filled half of his experience points. In an instant, Wang Lan's experience points were filled, and he leveled up to Nebula Level 4. In an instant, the 500,000 experience points were filled, and he leveled up to Nebula Level 5. His 600,000 experience bar was filled, and he leveled up to Nebula 6. His 700,000 experience bar was filled, and he leveled up to Nebula 7. It only stopped when the 800,000 EXP bar was down to 30%. He had only experienced such a feeling when he had just become a Takashi Hoshi. After arriving at Star Blazing, Wang Lan didn't even dare to think about it. Even after he had broken through to Nebula, Wang Lan had been prepared to level up in half a year. He would be thankful if he could reach the Galaxy Realm before his internship. However, this massive amount of experience points suddenly swallowed Wang Lan. In the blink of an eye, he broke through from Nebula early stage to Nebula late stage. That feeling, wave after wave of climaxes. Wang Lan felt so good that his soul left his body, leaving behind only an empty shell. Bang! The door was violently kicked open. He Jing and Ming Guodong rushed into the room and looked at Wang Lan. Wang Lan, what's wrong with you? Did you go berserk? He Jing asked nervously as she supported Wang Lan, who was lying on the floor and laughing foolishly. Wang Lan, were you trying to break through just now? What a strong fluctuation of astral power. Did you fail? No, I didn't succeed. Wang Lan pushed He Jing away and sat back on the bed. I just wanted to cultivate. I didn't expect that I would actually succeed in breaking through. F***CK. He Jing suddenly raised her middle finger. You pervert. I remember you were in Nebula early stage when school started. It's only been a month and a half, and you're already in Nebula late stage? Don't overreact. I didn't want to do it. F***CK. You're really perverted. Your advancement speed is faster than the second princess. Although the second princess was in Nebula Peak when school started, it still took her a year to break through to the Galaxy Realm. You broke through from Nebula early stage to Nebula late stage in 2 months. Maybe it won't be difficult for you to break through to the Galaxy Realm before your second year. Don't talk nonsense. I'm not that slow. F***CK. By the way, are you the genius first-year student that the news talked about? Sibu Gakuin of Shanghai, Takashi Hoshi's vaccine? You seem to be running to the medical department these days. Can't you be more confident? Don't question me. That's me. F***CK. It's really you? Monster, show your true form. He Jing hurriedly jumped to the side and shouted. Ming Guodong pushed He Jing away. Wang Lan, how did you do it? Although the analysis and coding of Takashi Hoshi's toxins were developed by director Sun Li, you're still a genius. But you're the one who invented the genetic coding formula to edit the human genome? But you're just a first-year student. I heard that the editing method is based on a new genetic coding formula. After the formula was announced, no one was able to master it. Don't tell me you're more awesome than all the scientists in the world combined in less than 2 months. I don't believe that. I'm not that awesome. The main thing is that I've already mastered the genetic coding formula. So this credit, I'm really just picking it up. After all, the research direction was developed by teacher Sun Li and the others. I'm just providing a tool to overcome the final hurdle. You've already mastered it? Even earlier than when the formula was announced? Wang Qi is my aunt. Don't you know? They really didn't know about this. Who was Yin Emperor? Many people in Yin Emperor's family knew, but at least half of them didn't know that Yin Emperor had a sister who was an ordinary person. If the previous generation didn't know so much, the next generation would be even more clueless. Moreover, if their family didn't tell them who was Wang Lan, they probably wouldn't be interested in knowing. On the Tieba forum, there was an uproar. F***CK. I knew that this guy wouldn't settle down. He just settled Duanmu Yi, and now he's creating such a big mess. But I like it. Duanmu Yi's matter is just an interlude. The Takashi Hoshi's toxins vaccine has been researched for a long time. Wang Lan is worthy of being called the god of studying. His strength is improving rapidly, and his research is world-class. Junior Wang Lan is so handsome. Does he have a girlfriend? Senior Dangyong, I'm eating grass online. Senior, Wang Lan has a girlfriend. You can consider me. Everyone, don't be happy yet. We don't know if it's one vaccine or many. If it's just one, it won't be very useful. This student is jealous. Look at the paper. This is obviously not a vaccine for Takashi Hoshi toxins, but a vaccine for most Takashi Hoshi toxins. The answer to each edition may be different, but the calculation method for each question is the same. This is the greatest contribution of Wang Lan's research results. I can say that this is a proper contribution to human civilization metal. From now on, Wang Lan will be a Buddha to all. Indeed, the emergence of the Takashi Hoshi toxins vaccine is of great significance. From now on, poison-type exotic beasts are no longer invincible. Go Wang Lan. Long live the Jade State. How could the physical media let go of this opportunity when the reposted news was overwhelming? Wang Lan solving the Takashi Hoshi toxins that had plagued the various countries for thousands of years was a cause for celebration, and he had brought glory to the country. Countless news outlets flocked to Cebu Gakuen. In the past, no one dared to honk at the entrance of this sacred place. But now, the entrance was filled with people. You want me to be interviewed? Wang Lan looked at Dean Nangong in front of him, dumbfounded. The grudge from the Duanmu-e incident was nowhere to be seen on Nangong Meng's face. The way Nangong Meng looked at Wang Lan was like looking at his own grandson. Wang Lan, accept the interview and appear in front of everyone. Although your name is already known to everyone, no one knows what you look like. You discovered the method to make the Takashi Hoshi toxins vaccine. This is the honor you deserve. No, the Takashi Hoshi toxins vaccine wasn't created by me alone. Without the entire medical department, I know that, but they don't have anyone to represent them. Moreover, the method to make the Takashi Hoshi toxins antidote has been around for 30 years. The whole world has been researching it, but no one has managed to create a vaccine. At the end of the day, it was your genetic coding technology that solved this problem. If you don't do it, who will? No, why not Sunli-sensei? She's the school's teacher, but you're the school's student. Which one is more talked about, the Takashi Hoshi toxins vaccine developed by a teacher or a student? Moreover, you played a crucial role, not like we're asking you to take the credit. Moreover, doesn't your success show the brilliance of our school? You have the honor and the school's reputation. Isn't that great? So, this was what Nangong Meng was thinking. No wonder he was trying so hard to persuade him. It was said that Nangong Meng, the vice president of Shanghai Cebu Gakuen, valued the school's honor more than anything else. He racked his brains to improve the school's status and wanted to make the school the best in Jade State, surpassing the imperial capital. Now, it seemed that this old man was willing to take advantage of any opportunity for the sake of his reputation. But Mr. President, I still have to research the Takashi Hoshi toxins vaccine and make the soul or grenades. I'm also busy with the Heavenly Sword Bureau's investigation. I'm so busy that my toes can't even touch the ground. Didn't the Heavenly Sword Bureau stop you from investigating the case? Moreover, I'll arrange for a media interview. It's only half an hour. I won't delay you. Since Nangong Meng had already said so, it would be inappropriate if he still refused. After thinking about it, Wang Lan finally nodded. All right, but I don't have much experience. What should I say when I'm being interviewed? Just tell the truth, but you must remember to be humble. No matter how exaggerated the words of the host are, you must stay calm and not be complacent. The host's praise is their professional pursuit. You just need to answer the host's questions properly. Oh, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, meeting room number 7. Remember, don't forget. Nangong Meng left happily. Looking at his gait, it was hard to believe that this was the gait of an old man in his 70s. His phone vibrated. It was a call from Jiang Xinyu. Wang Lan, congratulations. Why is this congratulation so formal? I don't hear the congratulatory tone at all. Then what do you want to do? Imitate the tone of the senior sisters in the school posts? Wang Lan, you're amazing. Wang Lan, you're awesome. Wang Lan, you can do it. Cough, cough, cough. Wang Lan coughed violently. At least, you should show some admiration, right? I've always been. Jiang Xinyu suddenly said, so far, you are the only one who has made me accept wholeheartedly and willingly. I like hearing that. Haha, I just promised the deputy director an interview. It's about to start. I can't talk to you anymore. I'm hanging up. Faced with the busy tone, Jiang Xinyu was slightly stunned. Was my hint not obvious enough? Chapter 289. Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to Closer Up. Nowadays, the hottest topic is Wang Lan, the young genius whose name is known all over the world. As a freshman, he has overcome the Takashi Hoshi poison that has been a huge threat to human civilization since the beginning of human history. Today, Closer Up is honored to have Wang Lan as our guest for today's episode. Wang Lan, say hello to our friends in the audience. Hello, everyone. I am Wang Lan, Wang Lan said politely. This is not a live broadcast, is it? No, it is a recording. We will edit it when we get back. Speaking of Takashi Hoshi poison, many of you may not know about it. Wang Lan, can you explain to us what Takashi Hoshi poison is? What is so special about it that scientists and doctors from all over the world are at a loss? Okay, host. Takashi Hoshi poison was similar to a virus. But unlike a virus, this poison was activated by astral powers. It had both the characteristics of a virus and Takashi Hoshi. The characteristics of a virus were that it was small and could reproduce quickly. It could enter a person's body through breathing or contact. Since it was a Takashi Hoshi technique, the human body's immune system and even the immune system of Takashi Hoshi could not stop it. In the microscopic world, the strength of a Takashi Hoshi made no difference to the virus. It was just that it would take a little longer for the virus to enter the body of a powerful warrior. That was why Takashi Hoshi poison was so frightening. No matter whether you were a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi or a title battle pet warrior, once you were poisoned, you would have no effective defense. A strong Takashi Hoshi poison could kill a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi in an instant. Even a warrior at the star-blazing realm could only survive for dozens of seconds. However, Takashi Hoshi's poison cannot be protected against because it is too small and can penetrate anything we make. And because it's a Takashi Hoshi technique, it's impossible for us to isolate it in a scientific way. The attack radius of Takashi Hoshi's poison was very large. Some could even reach tens of kilometers. Within the attack radius, if there is no vaccine or immunity to the toxin, any creature within will die quickly. Wow, that sounds really scary. Fortunately, Wang Lan had already developed a vaccine against Takashi Hoshi. Student Wang Lan, can you share with me how you achieved such an amazing achievement? Immediately, Wang Lan recalled Dean Nangong's instructions. The host praise was their way of mediating the atmosphere. They must not be complacent and must keep a low profile. Actually, I don't think it's a great achievement. I was reading in the library, and suddenly I had an idea. In the end, I came up with the idea of using the genetic coding formula to write a vaccine against Takashi Hoshi. After that, with the help of teacher Sun Lee, I completed the production of the first vaccine against Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan's words were humble and low-key. Even the host's expression changed. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. If this wasn't a great achievement, then what was? The genetic coding formula you're talking about, is it the formula that Professor Wang Qi was awarded with the Human Civilization Contribution Award not long ago? As far as I know, although this formula has been announced for 2 months, not a single scientist has claimed that they have learned how to use it. I'm not sure. Maybe those scientists want to study the evolutionary principles of this formula. If they're just substituting it into a formula, it shouldn't be difficult. 2 days later, a group of graduate students led by Sun Lee, who had been taught a lesson by Wang Lan, saw Wang Lan's words on the television. The remote control in their hands suddenly shattered. It shouldn't be difficult? You're so humble. Not difficult, my ass. Teacher Sun has such a high IQ, but he still makes mistakes all the time. Okay? Student Wang Lan, I heard that you've been a top student since you were young. Back in Sioux City, you were even known as the god of studying. May I ask where this title came from? Wang Lan hesitated. What's wrong? Can't you say it? It's not that. It's just that it's a little hard to say. It's just that from elementary school to high school, I've always gotten first place in every competition. That's why it's been spread. Actually, I don't like it. I'm just a little bit more hardworking. If others were as hardworking as I am, there would be a lot more people who are better than me. In front of the television, countless parents' eyes turned red. So the difference was in the degree of hard work. They thought it was talent. Looking back at the child who was playing with his head lowered, he silently stood up and picked up the feather duster. In any case, Wang Lan felt that the interview had gone smoothly. His answers could be considered to be quite accurate. Not only did he satisfy the school's requirements, but he also kept a low profile. Then, after the video of the interview was broadcasted, posts all over the country were suddenly flooded with limericks. The ancient martial arts are just average. The vaccine is just inspiration. The god of studying is very common. The genetic coding is not too difficult. Yes, solving a problem that's been a problem for thousands of years isn't much credit. Yes, but so many people around the world who studied the method to restrain Takashi Hoshi's poison are guilty. Something that's not difficult actually took thousands of years to study. Yes, what's so difficult about the god of studying? It's just getting first place every time. Even if the students around me are sharks, I can still be the god of studying. The genetic coding is not difficult. Even Dr. Delu, who is recognized as the world's highest IQ, said that without half a year of research, he's not confident that he can master the application. It seems that in Wang Lan's eyes, there's nothing difficult in the world. You seem humble and low-key, but every sentence is pretentious. In terms of pretentiousness, I'm willing to call you the king of pretentiousness. You invited me to team up? In the school field, Wang Lan stared at Yu Ruyun in surprise. Speaking of which, Wang Lan and Yu Ruyun had never interacted before. Other than having a meal together at the beginning, they only had a tacit cooperation with Duanmu Yi. Even in the outside world, there was a debate about whether the leader of the younger generation in Yin Emperor's faction was Wang Lan or Yu Ruyun. But Wang Lan pretended not to hear it. He thought that Yu Ruyun should be the same. From Wang Lan's point of view, he and Yu Ruyun could not even be considered friends. He really did not expect Yu Ruyun to invite him, and the 9-story pagoda is about to open? Why didn't I receive a notice? The school just posted an announcement. If you walk around the school now, you should be able to see it. I just didn't expect you to be so unconcerned about the things around you. It seems you don't care about your current achievements. Student you, you're joking. What achievements? Wang Lan smiled bitterly. I've been annoyed to death recently. If I knew, I wouldn't have accepted any interviews. Yu Ruoyan smiled. Is this a question you accept in an interview? It's just that the way you speak is too infuriating. To be honest, after seeing what you said in the interview, I can't help but want to hit you with a brick. Let's not talk about this. It makes me feel awkward. I heard that the 9-story pagoda is only for 4th-year students to break through to the next realm. Is this a benefit for me? Every year, the 9-story pagoda is indeed open for 4th-year students to break through to the next realm. But this is not a benefit. Even for me, I have never been to the 9-story pagoda before. But this time is a little special. Didn't we just sell 100,000 soul beads? Therefore, the school opened up the authority to allow 4th-year and below Galaxy Realm students to enter the 9-story pagoda to collect soul beads and then exchange them for credits. Credits? I almost forgot that there was such a thing as credits. Credits can be exchanged for Takashi Hoshi techniques, right? Yes, the school encourages students to earn more credits. Only with enough credits can you obtain more powerful Takashi Hoshi techniques. This is to tilt resources through competition. Although the school promises to give you an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique and 2 B-grade ones, that is before graduation. The Takashi Hoshi Dojo has many powerful Takashi Hoshi techniques. If you want, follow me to earn credits. Yu Ruiyun enticed. How many credits does it cost to buy an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique? At least 500. So cheap. Wang Lan exclaimed. In his student card, there seemed to be more than 1,000 credits. With this calculation, for S-grade Takashi Hoshi techniques should not be a problem. Cheap. Yu Ruiyun was shocked. Many students may not even be able to save 300 credits by the time they graduate. I am a part-time student council president and help the school management, but I only get 10 credits a month. For each subject, the highest final evaluation is only 10 credits, and this is under the premise that I get straight A's. Do you think credits are easy to get? Not easy to get? I already have over 1,000 credits, Wang Lan complained in a low voice. Where did you get so many credits? Teacher Sun Li and Teacher Zheng Gong gave me 30 credits each. Last time, the school gave me 500 credits for creating the Soul Bee Grenade. This time, the school gave me another 500 credits for creating the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine. Also, I made the Soul Bee Grenade for the school. For 10 credits per grenade, I earned 500 to 600 credits. It's not bad, right? Looking at Wang Lan with his hands in his pockets, Yu Riyun did not know if she should say these words. It was a typical case of not knowing the feeling of others starving. When the students in the school heard the word credits, their eyes turned red. There was even a slogan, "Never let a single credit slip away from your eyes." So are you going or not? Of course. How can I miss such a good opportunity? But didn't they say that the requirement is Galaxy Realm? I am only in the late Nebula Realm. I don't seem to meet the requirements, right? This time, the application is in a small team. Each team has at least 4 people, and the average strength is Galaxy Realm. I've already found 2 seniors who are in their 4th year. The senior is an agility type and is the number 1 speed god in the senior year. His strength is unfathomable. If I fight him, I will most likely be killed in an instant. His strength is reliable. The other one is called by G. She is Nebula Peak. Her astral power is extraordinary, and her attributes are water and earth. She is the same as Xiao Zi, who you met at the provincial martial competition. Her astral power is unfathomable. She is proficient in the earth-type Takashi Hoshi technique, which can change the terrain in an instant. With her in the team, we will always have the advantage. Also, she's a beauty. If we have you, a powerful medic Takashi Hoshi, our team's combat strength will be balanced. What about you? Me? Takashi Hoshi with the 5 attributes of wind, thunder, water, fire, and wood are relatively balanced. As for combat strength, it is average. Against a Star Sea Realm expert, I can last at most 30 minutes. Student you, your way of speaking is so tactful. Takashi Hoshi rarely fight for more than 30 minutes. In a one-on-one fight, it will be over within 15 minutes. 30 minutes, that means they're evenly matched. Yu Ruoyun shrugged. That's about it. I remember that Sinyu is your roommate. Why didn't you choose her? Yu Ruoyun's expression suddenly became serious. Wang Lan, you must remember, the beasts in the 9-story pagoda are completely different from what you think. They are very dangerous. Even if you activate your phoenix form, it is still very dangerous. With Sinyu's strength, you should wait until you are in your senior year to go. With that said, Wang Lan understood. Chapter 290. After submitting the application, Wang Lan, Jiang Sinyu, and the 4th-year students, Yu Jifeng and Bai Ji, gathered in the library's reading room. This is everyone's first time entering the 9th-floor pagoda, so it's necessary to understand it. The 9th-floor pagoda has a total of 9 levels, and the beasts on the first level are equivalent to the beginner level of the training grounds. The second level is equivalent to the intermediate level of the training grounds. Every time we go up a level, the beast's strength will increase by a level. So far, only the 4th level of the 9-floor pagoda has been explored. Our main battlefield is on the 4th level. Although the 4th level is dangerous, the rewards are the greatest. The beasts on the 4th level are from the early nebula stage to the late nebula stage, and their strength far surpasses the advanced level of the training grounds. However, there are a large number of Lord-class beasts, which will allow us to collect as many intermediate-level soul orbs as possible. However, we must pay attention to the high degree of mutation of the beasts inside. Although many of them only have Nebula's astral power, they have the strength of a galaxy-tier cultivator due to mutation. Therefore, we must not lower our guard after going in. Does anyone have any other opinions? Why do we have to challenge such a high level of difficulty? It feels very dangerous. Isn't it safer on the first level? Although the level of the soul orbs might be a bit low, our killing speed will definitely be many times faster, Wang Lan hurriedly said. For Wang Lan, his goal of killing beasts was to gain skill points. Since each soul orb was a skill point, it was best to clear them all out. From Wang Lan's point of view, challenging such a high level of difficulty was definitely not worth the loss. You're right, but there's something I missed out on. You might not understand. I just said that the Academy has already cleared the 4th level. The 9th-floor pagoda is like a container with 9 levels, and we'll clear it from the bottom to the top. If we add water of different temperatures to each container, what do you think will happen if we clear a level? The water from the higher levels will flow to the lower levels. Yes, every time we clear a level, the beasts on the previous level will be able to come to the next level. The competition between each level is very intense. Some exotic beasts that lost in battle would be banished to the next floor. At the beginning, the 9th-floor pagoda was used as the training grounds of the Academy. Not only Year 4 students, but Year 1 to Year 4 students could also enter. From the very beginning, the first 3 levels had already been cleared. However, a few years later, the Academy discovered that the exotic beasts in the lower floors were getting stronger and stronger, and the casualties among the students were also increasing. Only then did he understand that although the exotic beasts in the lower floors couldn't go to the upper floors, the exotic beasts in the upper floors could come to the lower floors. When the exotic beasts from the higher levels came to the lower levels, they dealt a devastating blow to the ecology of the lower levels, allowing the stronger exotic beasts to survive. As a result, the beasts in the pagoda grew stronger and stronger. And now, he had reached the 4th level. Even 4th-year students couldn't guarantee that they could escape unscathed from the exotic beasts on the 4th floor. In order to prevent the exotic beasts from growing stronger as a whole, the Academy would assign missions to them every year. From the 1st floor to the 3rd floor, some powerful exotic beasts will be cleared out to slow down the rate at which the exotic beasts grew stronger. As for the 4th level, every time the 9-story pagoda was opened, it would be the main target of improvement. Therefore, it wasn't that we chose the 4th floor, but that it was the 4th floor by default. Of course, it wasn't impossible to stay on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors. In the past, there were many students who stayed on the 3rd floor. However, Wang Lan, with our strength, we should be able to deal with the exotic beasts on the 4th floor. You're not afraid, are you? Afraid? It's impossible for me to be afraid. Since that's the case, let's go to the 4th floor. Junior, don't worry. I'll protect you. Bai Ji patted Wang Lan's shoulder, looking like a big sister who would protect her junior. Wang Lan, what type of medical Takashi Hoshi skill is? What level can it reach? Yu Jifeng suddenly asked. I need to determine the endurance of our team. My medical Takashi Hoshi skill is called Life Hymn. It connects a healing light from my body. Currently, it can connect 2 healing lights. The healing light won't be interrupted or affected. Unless I actively disconnect it, it will continue to heal. Within the healing range, as long as the body is injured, it can recover quickly. Even if the heart is broken, the limbs are broken, or the intestines are dug out. Oh, Yu Jifeng's eyes were filled with surprise. It's so strong? Your medical skill has reached S rank or above, and it's very targeted. Are there any restrictions? Yes, you can't heal through space, and the healing distance can't exceed 20 meters. There are no other restrictions. 20 meters is about the attacking range of Takashi Hoshi's skill. Junior, I'm even more certain of what I said now. I'll definitely protect you. With Wang Lan around, we basically don't have to worry about getting hurt. We don't have to worry about exhausting our star power when hunting exotic beasts. Unless we're physically exhausted, we can keep fighting. This is also the reason why I must invite Wang Lan. In that case, Yu Riyun and I will be in charge of attacking and killing. Bai Ji will be in charge of assisting and creating the conditions for us to kill. Wang Lan will follow Bai Ji. Bai Ji, you must pay attention to Wang Lan's safety. Understood. Wait, I'm also very good at fighting, Wang Lan protested. Your primary task is to provide medical assistance. You're secondary to providing support. After discussing the main things, the conversation became more relaxed and pleasant. By the way, Yurian, what's a 9-story pagoda? From what you said, this thing is different from the trial field or the wasteland exploration space. Of course it's different. Yes, when I entered the school, I heard a senior talking about a 9-story pagoda, but after so many years, I don't know what a 9-story pagoda looks like. When I was in my second year, a senior in the dormitory was in her 4th year. I still remember that she was very happy to enter the 9-story pagoda with the class, but later she didn't come out. I heard the school announcement that she died in battle. The origin of the 9-story pagoda is unknown. Legend has it that it's a treasure left behind by an immortal. What? Wang Lan looked up with a confused expression. Immortal? That's not science fiction. Demons have appeared. Why can't immortals appear? Wait, demons can be understood as another kind of creature or civilization in the universe. But I really don't understand immortals. Are they the same as those in mythical novels? If you want to explain it that way, I can also explain it. Immortals are powerful beings from ancient times, and the 9-story pagoda is the divine artifact of the Star Palace that he sacrificed. Can you accept this? All right, there's nothing wrong with that. The 9-story pagoda is a cone-shaped pagoda that's 50 meters tall. It's hidden in the back mountain of the school. However, the space in the pagoda seems to be infinitely large. Every floor is boundless. Moreover, there seems to be a treasure left behind by an immortal in the 9-story pagoda. At least on the 1st to 3rd floors, the divine artifact of the Star Palace has been obtained by the trial students. That means that the 9-story pagoda was used by the immortal for his disciples or descendants to train. It's very possible. It was obtained from an alternate dimension that opened in the Kunlun Mountains 200 years ago. After that, the Cebu Gakuin of Shanghai was established, and it was placed in the school. I also heard that the Azure Dragon technique was obtained together with the 9-story pagoda. The Azure Emperor's Azure Dragon technique? The sect treasure of the Cebu Gakuin of Shanghai. Bai Ji's eyes instantly lit up as she exclaimed, "Yes, for everyone, the 9-story pagoda is an opportunity." On the other side, in the vice president's office, Zheng Gong slammed his palm on Nangong Meng's desk. President Nangong, who approved Wang Lan's entry into the 9-story pagoda, "You're messing around." Nangong Meng was stunned by Zheng Gong, who was like a furious lion. However, after a moment, Nangong Meng's face suddenly turned ashen. "Great, Zheng Gong, you're taking advantage of your seniority? That's right, you're a senior in the school. Moreover, you're a first-rate spiritual imprint master and a tenured professor of the school. However, I'm still the vice president. In terms of seniority, reputation, and contribution to the school, you have to step aside. Where did you get the courage to slam the table with me? Are you trying to revolt? Professor Zheng Gong, please watch your attitude. President Nangong, I just want to know who approved Wang Lan's entry into the 9-story pagoda." "It was me." Nangong Meng stood up with a whoosh and shouted with a cold glint in his eyes. The few teachers in the office saw that the situation was not right and hurriedly slipped out to report to the president. Why? Although Wang Lan is only at the late-stage nebulous stage, his combat strength is at the peak of the galaxy stage. Moreover, the average strength of his team is at the early-stage galaxy stage. I have no reason to disagree. It's not like you don't know how dangerous the 9-story pagoda is. Every year, dozens of students die in battle. What if something happens to Wang Lan in there? What do you mean? Wang Lan is a student, but he's also a warrior. The other students can go, but he can't. Even Yu Ruoyun can go, but he can't. Besides, I didn't ask him to go. He applied for it himself. I just approved it according to the rules. His value doesn't lie in his being a warrior. He invented the Soul Bead Grenade and the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine. He's only 18 years old. If he dies in the 9-story pagoda, it will be a loss for the entire human race. No, we have to take back his pass. Otherwise, I'll complain to the president. Nangong Meng sneered. If you want to take back the pass, go ahead. I have no reason to. As for complaining to the president, you're too slow. Director Sun, Li already complained. What? And the result? The result? We'll do it according to the rules. Besides, Don't you think you're underestimating Wang Lan? Nan Gongming slowly sat down and arranged the information in front of him. Wang Lan's strength is top-notch even among the fourth-year students. Look at who he's teaming up with this time. Yu Riyun, Yu Jifeng, and Bai Ji. This is a top-notch team. Even if dozens of students die in battle every year, it won't be his turn. Wait, who's Bai Ji? What's her level? After parting ways from the library, everyone prepared to enter the 9-story pagoda. Wang Lan was planning to look for Jiang Xinyu, but Jiang Xinyu sent a message first. It was the weekend, so Wang Lan rode the high-tech scooter assigned to him by the Heavenly Sword Bureau and brought Jiang Xinyu to Phoenix Plaza. After getting off the scooter, Jiang Xinyu flirtatiously ran her fingers through her hair. This is my first time riding a scooter. Next time, I'll let you experience riding a bike. Chapter 291. Kazekage teacher told me this morning. Next month, he will lead a group of people to the Middle East. He asked me if I wanted to go with him, and I agreed. Jiang Xinyu stirred the drink in front of her, looking at Wang Lan with some fear. Well, you have always been cautious, and your strength is not bad. I have nothing to worry about. Today, Yu Ruyin also invited me to team up with her to enter the 9-story pagoda, and I also agreed. A sharp gaze like a knife shot at him. Why didn't you discuss it with me? In this regard, Wang Lan has something to say. You agreed to go abroad without discussing it with me, and I just stayed in the school to train. Why did you have such a big reaction? A typical case of only allowing the magistrate to do as he pleases, but under Jiang Xinyu's gaze, Wang Lan still did not quibble too much. She took a fancy to my medical ability, and I came with the team as a medical support. She also specially arranged people to protect my safety. Moreover, this is the school's training field, and there are teachers to protect me. The danger is far less than when you go abroad. Yu Ruiyun's strength is at the peak of the galaxy, but I found that her true strength is far more than that. Her true strength should be at the Starseed realm. Well, I know this. She has the Azure Dragon secret art, and it seems that there is a Takashi Hoshi technique similar to your Phoenix form, called Dragon Emperor form. Listening to Wang Lan's explanation, Jiang Xinyu's face became a lot better. You're different from before. You're not just an ordinary soldier, but also a world-renowned scientist. Wait, me? Scientist? Wang Lan always felt that this title was far from him. What's more, he is only a freshman, without a doctor or professor title. How can he be called a scientist? Yes, your contribution to the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine is irreplaceable. So you're naturally one of the great scientists who have influenced human history. The international support for you is very high. So in any case, you can't take risks. You think too much. I am me, I was, and I will be. I'm a scientist now, and it won't be long before I'll be called an inventor as well. Tired? Inventor? What did you do this time? I invented a type of soul bead grenade, which is to imprint the Takashi Hoshi skill into the soul bead. When the soul bead is thrown out, it will activate the Takashi Hoshi skill like a grenade. Wait, are you done eating? Jiang Xinyu couldn't keep up with Wang Lan's thoughts, but she still nodded. Come with me. Holding Jiang Xinyu's hand, Wang Lan hurriedly rode his electric scooter back to school. Looking at the school gate, Jiang Xinyu felt a little depressed. Finally, Wang Lan was free. She had planned to ask him out on a date. You, on the other hand, managed to pull her back after a meal. However, looking at Wang Lan's excited expression, Jiang Xinyu became curious about where Wang Lan was taking her. The main function of the school's laboratory building was to give students experimental classes. Of course, it was also a place for professors and scholars to conduct research. To be able to have an independent laboratory in the laboratory building, one must be a world-class scientist. And Wang Lan just so happened to have a laboratory. Although it wasn't big, less than 70 square meters, Jiang Xinyu had a whole new level of respect for it. After Wang Lan invented the soul bead grenade, Di Nangong specially approved it for Wang Lan. The purpose was to let Wang Lan make more soul bead grenades. It would be best if he could make 100 rank soul bead grenades a day. The more the better. Of course, it wasn't for free. In addition to the salary, there were also credits. This is the place where I make the soul bead grenades. Come, let me show you some good stuff. After saying that, he opened the safe and took out 3 aluminum alloy suitcases. This suitcase contains the soul bead grenades I made. The Fire Attribute Mid-Grade Soul Bead is imprinted with the S-Rank Takashi Hoshi Skill Sea of Flames. The Non-Attribute Mid-Grade Soul Bead is imprinted with the Purple Flame Arrow. The blue one is Thunder Snake All. There are also these white ones. I specially made a few more. Inside is my Medical Takashi Hoshi Skill Life M. The mid-grade soul bead can treat fatal injuries. Those minor injuries were just localized injuries. If it's not fatal, use the small soul bead. These are all for you. For me? This is the school's property. You're giving it to me? No way. Jiang Xinyu hurriedly waved her hand. I've already handed in the ones I made for the school. These are made from scraps, so they're mine. How can there be scraps in the soul bead? There are no scraps in the soul bead, but there's a scrap rate. Do you think it's easy to make soul bead grenades? This is a delicate job. It's already amazing for a level 7 spiritual engraving master to have a 30% passing rate. My passing rate is 50%. The school shouldn't be too happy. 50%. Jiang Xinyu's eyebrows twitched slightly. That's 50% of the scrap rate, right? Yeah. After all, the soul bead grenades are handmade products. I can only accumulate so many in a week. Anyway, you won't be going abroad until next month. When I come out of the 9-story pagoda, I'll praise you more. This isn't good, right? Jiang Xinyu was still a little uneasy. Although these were all good things, it would be a lie to say that she didn't want them, especially the medical soul bead. Without Wang Lan by her side, Jiang Xinyu felt uneasy. With these, it was as if she was still fighting side by side with Wang Lan. What's not good about it? Is it only good if it's ruined by Professor Zheng? Jiang Xinyu's eyebrows turned. Wait, so you're saying that your ability in spiritual engraving has surpassed Professor Zheng Gong? I remember that you only learned spiritual engraving after coming here, right? It should be. Actually, spiritual engraving is the same as Takashi Hoshi. As long as the conception and governing vessels are opened, it's very fast to learn. What conception and governing vessels? It's the basic condition. Think about it. Isn't it cheating for a person with a photographic memory to participate in a recitation competition? Others still need to recite, but he can memorize with a glance. Similarly, there are only 3 conditions for spiritual engraving: extraordinary spiritual power, extraordinary control of spiritual power and astral power, understanding and mastering the method of spiritual engraving. For the first 2 conditions, I was born at the maximum level. As for the last one, I can understand it after reading the books. So it's not difficult to learn it all. I think CSCC's results in spiritual engraving are also very good. You should have contacted each other. That's true. CC's progress is very fast. In just 2 months, she seems to have reached the peak of star blazing. Don't change the topic. Jiang Xinyu's eyes swept over the soul bead grenade, and a sly smile suddenly appeared on her face. The Academy suddenly announced that the graduation requirement for spiritual engraving was raised to level 7 because of you, right? No, I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. You've denied it 3 times in a row. Looks like it's you. This means that the creation of soul bead grenade will soon appear on the lesson plan. Passing level 7 is actually making soul bead grenades, right? As expected of Jiang Xinyu. You actually connected the dots so quickly. Do you know how many seniors have sworn to find the guy who caused their graduation to be delayed or even unable to graduate? There are even seniors who offer the price of 5 mid-grade soul beads. You definitely won't betray me. How do you know? That's not money. It's 5 mid-grade soul beads. With 5 mid-grade soul beads, I might be able to break through from Nebula middle stage to Nebula late stage. You're already Nebula late stage, but I haven't. There are already 20 of them in front of you. Besides, how can you bear to see me being hunted down by seniors? Right? I prepare these especially for you. As she said this, She placed 3 mid-grade soul beads in front of Jiang Xinyu. What? Soul bead grenade? No. New Moon Arrow, Nebula Sword Dance, and Takashi Hoshi from Phantom Steps. After I learned spiritual engraving, I immediately created these 3 Takashi Hoshi techniques. They're all non-elemental. You can practice them. At this moment, Jiang Xinyu was really touched. The man in front of her was hopelessly stubborn and had never expressed his feelings to her. However, his feelings for Jiang Xinyu were so direct and pure. Wang Lan had given her almost everything he could. No matter how many sweet words he said, they couldn't compare to what Wang Lan had given her today. Thank you. What are you thanking me for? It's only the 2 of us who came to Shanghai. Of course, we have to support each other. I'll take these 3 Takashi Hoshi techniques. You can keep these soul bead grenades. What's the use of keeping them? They're all Takashi Hoshi techniques. Do I need these soul bead grenades? Can't I release them myself? Besides, I don't have to worry about not having enough astral power to go to the 9-story pagoda. I don't need them at all. Don't be pretentious. This isn't the Jiang Xinyu I know. Thanks then. Good girl. Just as he left the laboratory building with Jiang Xinyu, his phone rang. Seeing that it was Sun Li, Wang Lan, and Jiang Xinyu had no choice but to go to the medical department separately. In Sun Li's office, Wang Lan's heart was beating fast. He kept stealing glances at Sun Li's unreadable expression. It was a clear sign that she was angry. I want to be angry, but I can't find a reason. Hurry up and give me a reason to be angry. In the face of Sun Li's current state, Wang Lan lowered her head and treated herself like a statue. But obviously, Wang Lan's strategy had failed. It wasn't that Sun Li didn't have a reason to be angry, but she had too many reasons to be angry. Smack! Sun Li slammed her hand on the table. Wang Lan, what are you thinking? What kind of place is the 9-story pagoda? Even 4th-year students have to take a huge risk to go there. How dare freshmen like you sign up? Are you tired of living? Teacher, I'm not any weaker than most 4th-year students. What about your combat experience? How can your combat experience compare to theirs? They've explored dimensions, helped the military on missions, and fought for other countries. Do you think it's like playing house in the training grounds? Teacher, you're underestimating me, aren't you? I'm an elite captain of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. No matter how fierce the mutant beasts are, can they be as fierce as the demons? Sun Li couldn't think of a rebuttal to that. No matter how fierce the mutant beasts were, they couldn't compare to the demons. The guy in front of her had as much combat experience as a 4th-year student. That won't do. Who do you think you are? Don't you know your own value? I should have let you go with Zhang Gong to study the soul imprint. That's not what you said back then. What you said was, I regret it. Can't I? Of course. You're right. Who are you teaming up with? Yu Ruiyun, Yu Jifeng, and Bai Ji. I know Yu Jifeng. He's pretty strong. But who's Bai Ji? Forget it. With Yu Ruiyun and Yu Jifeng, the team is pretty strong. Thank you for your concern, teacher. I'm going with the team as Takashi Hoshi's medic. What's done is done. There's no point in talking to you anymore. Forget it. As she spoke, Sun Li slowly took off her spatial equipment. This is a synthetic device, the kind that we often use. But it's a mini version. The 9-story pagoda has poisonous mutant beasts. It might be useful. It's too valuable. You'll have to pay it back. Do you think I'm giving it to you? Sun Li rolled her eyes. Chapter 292. Wang Lan could understand Sun Li's feelings. After all, just a moment ago, Wang Lan also wanted to give Jiang Xinyu everything he could. Therefore, Wang Lan was filled with gratitude towards Sun Li. Don't look at me like that. If you really want to thank me, then come out alive. There are tens of thousands of Takashi Hoshi toxins in the school's stockpile, waiting for you to develop a vaccine. Don't worry about that, teacher. If I don't develop a vaccine for all the Takashi Hoshi toxins in the school stockpile, I won't be satisfied even if I die. Wang Lan's words came from the bottom of his heart. Jiang Xinyu had gone into seclusion ever since she received Wang Lan's 2 Takashi Hoshi skills. Unlike Wang Lan, she didn't slack off like he did. Therefore, she had already completed the first semester of the 9 science subjects. In order to study the Takashi Hoshi skills, the school had opened its doors for students to enter seclusion. There were still 3 days before the 9-story pagoda opened. 3 days was enough time for anyone to adjust their mentality. Increasing their strength and whatnot was out of the question. But for Wang Lan, 3 days was enough for him to do a lot of things. With more than 1,600 credits in his student card, Wang Lan decided to pay a visit to the Takashi Hoshi Skills Collection Museum. Although he had guessed 4 months ago that he was a full attribute master, he hadn't had the chance to learn the Takashi Hoshi skills. Now it was time. In the past, he didn't think it was necessary to learn too many attributes. Thunder and fire were enough. But that was enough, and it made up for the hidden danger of having his attributes restrained. Now that she had reached the nebula realm, coupled with the fact that the Yang Seal could store star power, Wang Lan's star power reserves had already reached a profound level. Although, he wasn't as crazy as those with extraordinary astral power. But to become a true full attribute master, he had to be a full attribute master. He didn't need many Takashi Hoshi skills, but he had to have them. 80% of the Takashi Hoshi techniques in the Takashi Hoshi Technique Collection Hall were provided by the country, and a small portion were developed by the academy itself. As for the many secret techniques and forbidden techniques, they couldn't be exchanged even if one had academic credits. You have to apply to the school and get approval before you can learn it. The Takashi Hoshi Technological Collection Museum could be said to be the soul of Shanghai Cebu Gakuen. It was also the holy land in the hearts of all students. Even if many students didn't have any points, they would still come to the collection hall to look at the Takashi Hoshi skills to satisfy their cravings. The layout of the collection hall was like a museum. It was sorted according to the attributes, and each attribute had a special area. Beside each Takashi Hoshi skill, there was an LCD screen that played the activation image of the Takashi Hoshi skill, and even the battlefield usage image. The text introduction and video commentary attracted the students who came to visit again and again. From this point of view, Wang Lan seemed to have understood the sinister intentions behind the school's arrangement. I like to see the expression on your faces when you're drooling, but can't get me. His conscience was extremely bad. After entering the collection hall, the first area they arrived at was the water attribute. Water was the origin of all living things, and the water attribute was also the most versatile attribute. Water could be used as an elemental attack, as well as a physical attack. It could be used for both damage output and defense. It could change the terrain and adapt to the sea, land, and air. The misty water could be used for perception, detection, and confusion. The liquid water could be used to cut, impact, squeeze, resist, and defend. The solid water could be used to freeze, shield attack, cut, and seal. From the introduction, if one could master the water attribute, they would be invincible. The water attribute Takashi Hoshi skills were mostly C or B rank. There weren't many that were above a rank. There was only the water-shattering dagger. It used a high-pressure water gun to make a water dagger. Within a range of 30 meters, it could cut through anything, including soil and rocks that were resistant to water. Wang Lan liked the Takashi Hoshi skill very much. Not only did the water-shattering dagger have a strong cutting power, but it also had a terrifying impact. Without much hesitation, Wang Lan snapped his fingers. "Senior, I want the water-shattering dagger Takashi Hoshi skill." "Junior, give me your student card." The moment Wang Lan spoke, the girls beside him who were drooling over the Takashi Hoshi skill immediately looked at Wang Lan. Wang Lan enjoyed the look in their eyes. "Junior, you're only a freshman?" the senior suddenly asked when she received Wang Lan's student card. "Junior, the Takashi Hoshi skill can't be bought with money. It can only be bought with credits. You're only a freshman, so you definitely don't have enough credits." "Check my credits. I think it's enough." The senior laughed softly. "It's only been 2 months since school started. The credits accumulated in 2 months are only enough to buy a C-rank Takashi Hoshi skill. This is only possible if you don't let go of any opportunity to accumulate credits from the first day of school. even if I don't look. While speaking, the senior had already placed Wang Lan's student card on the magnetic induction table. Beep, beep, beep. The senior's voice paused. She stared at the numbers on the card reading display in disbelief, then looked at Wang Lan. Your credits. You stole them, right? Senior? Is it even possible to snatch points in school? No. But isn't this too much? Junior, listen to me. This water-shattering blade is only an A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill. I have an S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, Gluttonous Flood Dragon. Once the enemy is caught, no matter how many people there are, they will all be devoured by the Gluttonous Flood Dragon. Don't you want to consider this Takashi Hoshi skill? Not considering? Thank you. Then take a look at this. S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, Mirror Crystal. This is the ultimate version of the Polar Wall of Water. It's a water-type Takashi Hoshi skill known as the Absolute Defense. With a crystal wall in front of you, even a demon god would be in vain. Any attack will be offset or even reflected by the crystal wall. This evolved from the Polar Wall of Water. It should be, do you want to buy this? The senior asked with shining eyes. How much is the commission? 1%, the senior blurted out in a moment of carelessness. After blurting out the words, the senior's cheeks blushed. Junior, you're so cunning. Forget it. I'll go look somewhere else. Junior, think about it again. The water attribute is an all-round Takashi Hoshi skill. There's bound to be one that suits you. Wang Lan left without looking back. Although the mirror crystal was indeed very powerful and Wang Lan needed this Takashi Hoshi skill, since it evolved from the Polar Wall of Water, Wang Lan could get the Polar Wall of Water from Jiang Xinyu and add points to the mirror crystal. Moreover, Wang Lan never believed in absolute defense. The so-called absolute defense was only because the attack power had not reached the limit it could withstand. Senior sister, how many credits did that freshman just now have? A few girls who were watching from the side just now asked after Wang Lan left. 1,700. An A-level Takashi Hoshi skill is only 100 credits. He could buy almost 20 A-level Takashi Hoshi skills. He can earn so many credits in a freshman? Generally speaking, it's impossible. Many seniors may not even have 500 credits even when they're in their 4th year. I really don't know how he got so many credits. Did he buy them with money? Impossible. Credits belong to the individual. They can't be traded. How can they be bought and sold? Wow, I suddenly realized that the guy just now was so handsome. A girl suddenly sighed while covering her face. Do you think he's handsome? You're just greedy for his credits. After walking past the water Takashi Hoshi skill, he came to the range of the wood Takashi Hoshi skill. The wood Takashi Hoshi skill, like the water Takashi Hoshi skill, was once considered the weakest attribute by Wang Lan. But as Wang Lan grew up in this world, he gradually realized how wrong he was. The wood Takashi Hoshi skill was rare, but it had created too many legendary existences. Not to mention others, the Easterwood Emperor was best at the wood Takashi Hoshi skill, apart from the powerful Azure Dragon skill. Especially his signature skill, the Firmament of Life, which could open up a world in an instant and block an apocalyptic attack. The wood Takashi Hoshi skill's special attribute was the absorption of astral power. But not everyone could understand the law of absorption of astral power. It was similar to the earth element. Without understanding the law of gravity, the earth element would be an easy target. But once it understood the law of gravity, its power would be destructive. It was the same for the wood Takashi Hoshi skill. Without understanding the law of absorption of astral power, its attack power was only on the surface. Duan Mui had already understood the law of absorption of astral power, but unfortunately, he met Wang Lan, who was a freak. Objectively speaking, Duan Mui was one of the top masters in Cebu, Gakuen, Shanghai. Most of the wood Takashi Hoshi skills were restricted Takashi Hoshi skills, which were strong against strong opponents and specialized in the later stage. Junior, you want a Takashi Hoshi skill? Accompanied by a wretched voice, a middle-aged man with a sexy beard came to Wang Lan. Junior, the wood Takashi Hoshi skill is rarer than Shao. Why haven't I seen you before? I'm a freshman. It's normal that you haven't seen me before. Wang Lan stared at the S-level with Takashi Hoshi skill and said without moving his eyes, "Uncle." The temperature suddenly dropped a few degrees, and Wang Lan instantly came back to his senses. "I'm only 22, and you call me uncle? Ah, sorry, I didn't mean it." The other party gently stroked his sexy beard. "Do you think this is a beard? Wrong, this is my fetal hair. Juniors nowadays have such bad eyesight. Tell me, what do you want?" "Omniscient nature." Cough, cough, cough. The other party suddenly coughed a few times. "What did you say? Omniscient nature? That's an S-level Takashi Hoshi skill. Okay? Don't even think about it if you don't have 500 credits. Omniscient nature is a 300-meter range Takashi Hoshi skill." "Yes, I know. I want to buy this." Wang Lan handed over his student card. "Are you messing with me? You're a freshman, big shot." When Wang Lan placed his student card on the sensor, the other party was almost scared silly. 1,600 credits. Did you hack into the school's credit library or something? But this was just a thought. It was impossible for anyone to hack into the library. After all, credits were not only exchanged by the system, but also manually operated by humans. Even if you controlled the school system, you couldn't put so many credits into your card. Omniscient nature was a bit like the advent of the flower tree realm in Naruto. But the advent of the flower tree realm was a few kilometers or even tens of kilometers, while omniscient nature was only a few hundred meters. And they were fundamentally different. Omniscient nature was centered around the caster, spreading out vines. As the vines grew thicker and larger, they would engulf the surrounding 300-meter range. During this time, it would consume a huge amount of the caster's star power. And once this skill was formed, it would no longer consume star power, and the entire vine would turn into the caster's body. Any creature that entered would be sensed by the caster and attacked. And if the caster comprehended the law of absorbing star power, he could use this Takashi Hoshi skill to hunt and recover star power. Moreover, any attack sustained by star power could be absorbed. It was a combination of attack and defense with a large range. This was the most balanced Takashi Hoshi skill of the wood attribute. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.